In an age where the strong are revered, our protagonist missed the golden period for cultivation, all because of a strange illness that left him bedridden for 2 whole years. His classmates watched as he dragged himself to the final year's exam. They jeered and pointed, mocking him relentlessly. They sneered that his path to martial arts was completely severed, his future was bleak, and that for the rest of his life he'd only be able to work as a construction hand or a delivery boy just to survive. But those frogs in a well had no idea that during those 2 long years he was unconscious. The protagonist was actually in another dimension, furiously slaughtering monsters. There, he fought to the death to protect a crystal from being destroyed by the horde of monsters. Every time he survived a wave, his spiritual power would skyrocket. His memory and comprehension were now so great they could completely crush those who still beat their chests, calling themselves geniuses. And tonight, just before the exam, the 5th wave of monsters descended. A giant fire-breathing dragon appeared. With experience gained from dying and reviving countless times, Trando used his nimble footwork, finishing it off with a piercing heavenly needle strike that went straight through the giant dragon's head. The reward instantly appeared, the Void Immortal Infusion technique. From being seen as useless by the entire school, our protagonist officially began his path of defying the heavens and changing his fate, taking the first step on a journey to crush even the greatest emperors. Meanwhile, at Lungtan No. 1 High School, a teacher was lecturing the students. All right, students, I'm sure you all know that only by getting into the elite class do you have any hope of becoming elite martial artists in the future. The placement test, which simulates the university entrance exam, will consist of separate assessments for academics and martial arts. The total score is 750 points, 225 for academics, and 525 for martial arts. I expect all of you to apply what you've learned and do your very best. However, only the 10 students with the highest total scores will be accepted into the elite class. Now, prepare to begin the examination. Please enter the examination room in an orderly fashion. While waiting for his turn, Trando warmed up his body. He was extremely confident that he would become a martial artist, recalling 2 years ago when he was a first-year high school student. Suddenly, he fell into a coma. His parents, worried for his health, had requested a 2-year medical leave from the school for him. This is probably my last chance to become a martial artist. I absolutely cannot let my parents down. Right at that moment, he unexpectedly bumped into a group of bullies who preyed on the weak. The one named Feng Tui saw our protagonist and sneered, "Oh, if it isn't Trando, you..." He actually dared to show up for the exam. "Hey guys, you see this? I told you anyone has a chance to get into the elite class." Student Trando, a first year who took a 2-year leave of absence, actually dares to come here and take the test. The youth these days sure are spirited, huh? Taking 2 years off for an illness and still daring to test directly for the elite class. Don't tell me you still think you're some kind of genius. Saying this, Feng Tui immediately raised his hand to teach our protagonist a lesson, but as soon as his arm extended, it was grabbed tightly by our protagonist. The immense strength rendered him unable to move. Our protagonist curled his lip in contempt and said, "Thanks for the concern, but you should probably focus on the upcoming test, you childish punk." With that, he forcefully threw Feng Tui's arm away. Then he walked straight into the academic testing room. Watching Trando's back, Feng Tui's lackey spoke up angrily. "That kid was clearly weak and still, clearly, got bullied by us back in the day, but now he's acting so arrogant. Why don't we teach him a lesson after the test?" Feng Tui wasn't really listening. He rubbed the hand that Trando had just gripped so tightly. It felt like that kid had already broken through and become a martial artist. But to save face, he loudly berated his crony. "Humph, are you stupid? If you make a move and get caught by a teacher, we'll be disqualified from the test. We'd be better off waiting for the combat portion of the exam to make our move." Trando was completely unaware of their plan. He sat in front of the computer and thought to himself, Please briefly describe the current world setting and the starting point of the High Martial Calendar." This is a pretty normal question, I guess. In 2842 of the Old Calendar, an otherworldly civilization had discovered and invaded Earth. Humanity retaliated with nuclear weapons. 2 years later, the full-scale nuclear war ended in failure. The death toll surpassed 10 billion. Amidst widespread nuclear radiation, humanity broke through its physical limitations and began a process of evolution. On August 27, 2860 of the Old Calendar, at all adults' life force intensity reached level 2. Each person awakened different special abilities, including muscular strength, wind, water, fire, wood, earth, and spiritual power. That day marked the end of the old era and the beginning of a new one, becoming known as the first day of the High Martial Calendar. Question 2. Which important figures made significant contributions? During the first wars of the High Martial Era, Question 3. What erroneous policies did different nations propose regarding the restoration of world order? After answering all the questions, Trando confidently clicked the submit button. He became lost in his own thoughts. If I'm not mistaken, that should be a perfect score. After all, I wasn't really in a coma for 2 years. More accurately, I was mysteriously injured before that. And then I started continuously entering a strange space. Over and over, the rewards from this space helped me awaken my spiritual power and gain the gift of a photographic memory, and for this very reason. Even though I've been out of school for 2 years, I can still confidently sign up for the exam just like before. It's just a shame that the maximum score for academics is only 225 points, so I still need to go home and prepare thoroughly for the martial arts exam. Half an hour later, Trando arrived home with a confident smile. Dad, I'm home. Just in time, let's get ready for dinner. A piece of paper suddenly fell out of his pants pocket just as his mother was walking by and picked it up. Look at you being so clumsy. Remember, don't lose that exam admission ticket. And so everyone sat properly at the dinner table. Trando's father walked in holding 2 fragrant dishes, then suddenly took out a porcelain vial and placed it on the table. Take a look and see what this is, Trando said in surprise. Chi and blood powder, Dad. Where did you get this? Tranha smiled and explained. Aren't you about to take the elite class entrance exam? So I bought you some chi and blood powder to help you improve your score. Trando knew his father must have used his savings to buy it. Moved, he said, Dad, I really don't need this stuff. I can pass the exam without it. Dad, please don't take on any more hard labor. Seeing his son worrying about his health, Tranha walked over, patted Trando on the shoulder, and comforted him. Don't overthink things all day. Even though I couldn't become a martial artist, whether it's you or your little sister, this family can easily afford to support a few martial artists. So just eat and relax. You don't need to worry about money. Hearing this, Trando looked up at his father, his eyes filled with happiness. When night fell, Trando immediately sat cross-legged to meditate. 1 vial of chi and blood powder costs 20,000. To buy it, the family probably had to spend every last bit of their savings. In today's society, if you don't become a martial artist, you can't even guarantee your family's safety. You can't even guarantee it. Whether tomorrow's exam goes smoothly, all depends on tonight. The space around him changed. He was suddenly transported to an alternate world made entirely of ice. This has happened ever since that coma. Every night in his dreams, he enters this crystal space. This space is filled with monsters whose goal is to destroy the crystal while the main character has to fight them to protect it. If the crystal is destroyed, he'll be in a coma for the entire next day. But if the main character fights to the death in this space to protect the crystal, he'll wake up quickly full of energy. At the very beginning, the main character didn't dare risk his life, which led to him frequently falling into a coma. That was until he discovered the rule about being energized, after dying in battle, which allowed him to gradually recover. But this was also a good thing. Each time he successfully fought off a wave of monsters, his spiritual power would increase by a certain amount. This increase in spiritual power made the main character's memory and comprehension incredibly strong, even after taking 2 years off from school. The system continuously announced that the next wave of monsters would appear in 30 seconds. Too bad it only works if you succeed in protecting the crystal the first time. The main character, Trando, got into a fighting stance. His powerful attack killed the monster in a single blow. His nimble body dodged countless attacks from various directions. In less than an hour, Trando had overcome the first wave of attacks. He raised a hand to wipe the blood from his face. He decided to open his attribute panel. Trando looked at his stats and judged that based on the current data, it was probably not enough to qualify for the elite class, or to become a potential martial artist in the future. 1. Name Trando. Vitality, 5.1. Spiritual power, level 5. Lifting strength, 1,000 caddies. Speed, 20 meters per second. Martial skill, flowing light sword. Style first stage, 89%. Number of defended waves, 4 out of 5 incomplete. 4 out of 10 incomplete. 4 out of 15 incomplete. 4 out of 20 incomplete. 4 out of 25 incomplete. The 5th monster wave is about to descend. Player, please prepare yourself. Just as the announcement finished, a massive colossal dragon appeared from the void. It viciously spewed hellfire toward Trando. Trando's reflexes were extremely fast. He dodged to one side, then gathered momentum to rush forward and swing his sword at its weakest point. But the fire-breathing dragon was no pushover. It realized his intention and swung its tail to block the attack. The sound of clashing metal rang out. It seemed like he had failed. But who would have thought Trando cleverly used the rebound force to leap forward? His entire body radiated a sharp sword aura as he thought to himself, after dying and coming back to life so many times, I finally grasped it. the patterns and rhythm of this damn giant lizard's attacks. Right in front of the fire-breathing dragon, Tran Do immediately used the flowing light sword style's Forest Descent City Defense. The fire-breathing dragon roared violently after taking critical damage from those two sword techniques. Tran Do clutched the wound on his shoulder and realized, has it gone berserk? I was careless. Luckily, the injury isn't serious. He stood there witnessing its berserk state. Tran Do hastily dodged. Calm down! This time I will definitely be the one to win. The main character leaped high, preparing to risk it all against the fire-breathing dragon. Tran Do's sword aimed straight for its giant mouth. He moved like the wind appearing and disappearing. Tran Do's face grew tense, his teeth clenched as the fireball was right in front of him. In that life-or-death moment, Tran Do instinctively twisted his body in midair. Then he used his small frame to get close to it. As soon as he was in range, Tran Do, without a hint of hesitation, threw his sword forward, aiming for the fire-breathing dragon's left eye. It roared in pain as fresh blood flowed down like a waterfall. Its mouth continuously spewed fire, giving it no chance to catch its breath. In the blink of an eye, Tran Do used an agile skill to retrieve his sword. Then, channeling all his spiritual power, he unleashed his ultimate technique, Ancient Golden Heaven Piercer. A sword of light that could pierce anything ran through the fire-breathing dragon boss's head. It let out one final pain-filled roar before collapsing to the ground. But Tran Do didn't stop. He continuously swung his sword at its neck, waiting until the fire-breathing dragon boss was completely dead. The system's chime rang out congratulating the host for successfully withstanding the 5th wave of the monster attack, and congratulating the host for completing the 5 out of 5 defensive waves. Receiving the Void. Immortal Visualization Method. Tran Do's jaw dropped in astonishment. The increase in mental strength was one thing, but he remembered the school had explained the Void Immortal Visualization Method before. Visualization is a rare method to actively cultivate one's mental strength. Although I can rely on the system's rewards to raise my mental strength level, the more of a good thing, the better. Another notification appeared. Host, please focus. The next monster wave is about to descend. Hearing this, Tran Do let out a long sigh. He tried to steady his breathing when suddenly his eyes flashed with terror. A horde of monsters appeared, their demonic aura warping the very space around them. Their faces were incredibly ferocious. They were like ancient demon gods from mythology, their height comparable to the fire-breathing dragon boss. Faced with such overwhelming pressure, Tran Do didn't dare to accept this mission. He directly escaped the alternate dimension, his mind endlessly analyzing. Their life level was 1 level higher than mine, and there were about 30 of them. It seems that in the short term, I won't be able to pass this stage. Oh, whatever. First, let me check out this visualization method. He stared intently at the Void Immortal Visualization Method in his hand, and then used his mental strength to absorb the information within it. Suddenly, the surrounding space changed. His eyes widened in utter despair, his whole body frozen to the spot. Before Tran Do was an ugly, multi-eyed monster. It towered to the sky, a gleeful smile on its face as it looked down at the tiny creature before it. The immense aura it emanated caused Tran Do's mental form to tremble violently. Sweat poured down like rain. So that's how it is. No wonder it's called a visualization method. As long as I keep staring at this giant, it will continue to conduct a trial. Some time passed. Tran Do was still practicing the visualization inside his room when suddenly his younger sister, Tran Lin, pushed the door open. Big brother, time for dinner. Hearing her reminder, Tran Do took off his sweat-drenched shirt, preparing to take a shower. Tran Lin exclaimed in surprise, "Huh, brother, I think you've gotten a little more handsome." He just smiled and turned to look at his sister while his body was still trembling from the after effects of the visualization method. Tran Do walked over, patted Tran Lin's head, and asked, "You mean I wasn't handsome before?" Tran Lin complained. "Of course you were still handsome. But stop patting my head, you'll mess up my hair. It took me hours to style it." Tran Lin blushed, her heart pounding as she looked at the defined muscles on her brother's stomach. She thought, but my brother was never this handsome before. He definitely didn't have a six-pack. As he walked towards the bathroom, he looked at himself in the mirror and had to admit, "Oh, I do seem a little different than before." Is this the effect of the Void Immortal Visualization Method? Dad, sis, I'm off to the trial. Tranha advised, "Be careful on your way. I believe you'll definitely succeed." The scene changes to Luongtan No. 1 High School. In the gym, Tran Do was stretching his muscles. The effect of the Void Immortal Visualization Method isn't bad at all. I can clearly feel the improvement in every aspect of my body. Suddenly, a sarcastic voice came from afar. "Well, if it isn't our dear classmate..." The genius Trando who took 2 whole years off for medical treatment. You were dead last before you dropped out. 2 years without schooling, and you still dare to take the exam for the elite class. Is this charity case here to be last again? Trando retorted. Still better than someone who couldn't even pass the academic exam. One of his lackeys shouted angrily. What did you say? Trando smirked and repeated himself. If you can't even hear that clearly, you won't be able to take the exam. Enraged veins bulged on Feng Tui's neck. He threatened through gritted teeth. Trando, don't you get so cocky. Trando goaded him. I wasn't pointing fingers at anyone. Don't get the wrong idea, you failure. Seeing the two were about to fight, a friend came over to try and defuse the situation. All right. The exam is important. If anyone gets injured before the test and the teachers find out, everyone loses. Let's just keep the peace. Feeling his classmate was right, Feng Tui swallowed his pride and turned to leave. But he didn't forget to vent his anger. Just you wait, Trando. Later you're gonna get what's coming to you. After they left, Li Hao cried out in fear, Brother, you're so screwed! Trando reassured him, it's fine. There's always a way to solve things. Li Hao, thinking he was just being proud, came over and patted his shoulder comfortingly. This isn't something that can just be solved. Don't you get it after being out of school for 2 years? Look, the reason that punk Feng Tui is so arrogant is because his uncle is the dean of academic affairs at our school. This test uses a competitive elimination system, so give it your all when you punch the sandbag. The lowest scores will be eliminated. Trando fell into deep thought. So it seems, my friend, Li Hao is trying to warn me that Feng Tui will collude with the teachers to screw me over. Just then, everyone received a school notification. The martial arts test consists of a strength test and an actual combat assessment. Candidates are to proceed in groups of 10 according to their exam number to the corresponding test room. The strength test will be conducted first. Trando advised the test is about to start. Don't overthink it, just get in line, Li Hao remarked on how carefree he was. When it was his turn, he saw a giant bear right in front of him. It's like a strength testing machine, Li Hao explained as he punched the sandbag. The lowest performers in each group will be eliminated directly. The strength testing mechanism this year is insane. Trando calculated, and after this there's the practical combat assessment, so it's best to hold back my true strength. His hand clenched into a fist as he made up his mind. Speed decides victory or defeat. This was a stark contrast to his humble demeanor. Feng Tui, on the other hand, smugly used his full power. A piece of cake, I'm just getting started. And as expected, Feng Tui's uncle had arranged for Trando to fight Feng Tui. In the very first round, as soon as Feng Tui heard the signal to start, he unleashed a lightning-fast punch at the strength-testing bear, sending it flying out of sight into the sky. His lackeys, witnessing this, cheered wildly. The boss is the GOAT. Turns out Feng Tui is just too strong. I heard his strength is about to reach 1,400 kilograms. Our boss is number 1. Someone's definitely getting eliminated this round. But then the guy's expression suddenly turned to horror. It was as if space itself froze in that moment. Unexpectedly, aside from Feng Tui's, everyone witnessed another strength-testing bear fly even higher. The crowd was in an uproar. Whoa, what's going on? A punch force of 1,500 kilograms, and he even has a life force intensity of level 5.1. What class is this Trando guy in? How is he so powerful? Wait, is the record wrong? Last year his name wasn't even in the top 50 students. Feng Tui, who had been puffing out his chest proudly, had to turn his head to look. And his new friend Li Hao was full of praise. No wonder he's my brother. Damn, since when did my bro get this strong? A teacher on the sidelines saw this and couldn't help but stroke his chin. He thought, a life force intensity of level 5.1 corresponds to a punch force of 1,000 kilograms. But this student unleashed a punch with a force of 1,500 kilograms. Basically, no one in the elite class can do that. So how could a regular student be so powerful, unless that kid's martial arts skill is... Thinking of this, he said to a secretary beside him, Bring me Trando's file for a moment. Holding the file, the teacher fell into deep thought. A student from a regular class. Was on leave for 2 years, yet his martial arts skill has reached the first stage at 55%. It might even be higher. Very interesting. This afternoon I will witness your true strength for myself. Could it be that our Luongthan #1 high school has produced a true dragon? Time passed until the afternoon when the competition arena had been set up. Students whose names are called, please step onto the stage to begin the practical combat assessment. The first name called out in the room was our protagonist, Trando. Following him was the man with a fierce face, the bully Feng Tui. The students below were buzzing with discussion. Even though Trando just returned to school, his strength results were incredible. I wonder if he can win this time.
How could he?
The winner will definitely be Feng Tui. Practical combat depends on martial arts skills. Pure strength doesn't give you much of an advantage. On the stage, Feng Tui pointed his staff at Trando. Don't think that just because you beat me last time, you'll get lucky again. The protagonist sneered in response. Ha ha ha, I hope you can still be this arrogant in a little while. Like this. As soon as the command to start was given, Feng Tui instantly rushed forward using his weaving threads technique. The staff seemed to transform into twisting threads striking towards him, but time and again he easily dodged. After probing his opponent, Trando used his own sword to block. Then he began to unleash powerful and precise counterattacks, forcing Feng Tui to retreat continuously. In doing so, he accidentally revealed an opening. A slash hit Feng Tui and blood gushed from his nose like a fountain. Feng Tui knelt on one knee in pain. In his heart, he screamed wildly, "Tran, do the one who deserves to enter the elite class is me. It has to be me." A vicious glint flashed in Feng Tui's eyes, and his attacks became unpredictable. Although his opponent's moves were hard to anticipate with his mental strength and his natural talent of learning from a single glance, Trando quickly adapted and repelled each wave of attacks. Knowing he couldn't maintain this situation forever, Trando focused all his strength into the staff. "Go to hell, Trando." A devastating swing shattered the arena floor, sending countless fragments flying, but the protagonist had already reacted. He jumped back in time to dodge, his eyes filled with caution. The monsters in actual combat are somewhat different from the ones in the crystal space. While he was lost in his chaotic thoughts, his opponent's staff acted like a spring constantly compressing, waiting until it reached its peak, before shooting towards him like a bolt of lightning. But the surprising thing was, the protagonist stopped it with just a single simple slash. The shockwave spread far and wide. Feng Tui's body seemed frozen as if he couldn't believe his own eyes. Finally, Trando executed the Azure Wind of the Forest sword technique, beating Feng Tui until he coughed up blood relentlessly. Just when it seemed the fight was over, Feng Tui unexpectedly pulled out a dagger he had hidden on his person. As he was about to turn for a sneak attack, he was met with a heavenly punch that knocked out one of his front teeth. He flew right out of the competition arena. I snapped out of my daze. The dark horse is actually my brother. What's this situation? Trando actually won. That's insane. Could he be on drugs? Teacher Lang ordered medical team check on Feng Tui's condition. As for the rest of you students, go. Prepare for the next practical combat assessment. Trando, panting, was about to turn and leave when Teacher Lang called out to him, "Trando, wait a moment." Teacher Lang stood there with a dignified air. With both hands behind his back, Teacher Lang... Trando thought he was about to be reprimanded and immediately bowed his head to admit fault. "Teacher Lang, just now I couldn't control my strength for a moment. I'm sorry." Teacher Lang patted his shoulder, his voice full of concern. "Getting injured in practical combat is normal. Just be more careful next time. You worked hard today. Go home and take care of yourself." "Yes, thank you, teacher." Watching that back gradually disappear, Teacher Lang thought to himself, Feng Tui was beaten so badly, but he doesn't have a single scratch on him. It's likely because of suppression in martial skills experience and willpower. "Yes, Wang Tai, go report what happened with Chengdu to the principal." "Yes, sir." The scene changes to Chengdu. He walks down the hallway muttering to himself, "It's still early. I should get some training in. Besides, Dad and my little sister won't be back until this afternoon." 10 minutes later, he arrives at the simulated combat pods. Even though I can't afford one-on-one training with a martial artist, luckily the school provides some. Private tutoring for every student. All you have to do is lie down, and you can be matched with martial artists of equivalent skill to engage in combat right here in these simulated combat pods. Because I've always been fighting monsters in the glass space, I haven't really used the combat simulator much. That's why my current rank is only bronze. He plugs in the power cord to start the simulation machine. Feng Tui lost so miserably today. He'll definitely cause trouble for me joining the elite class. Just then, the simulated combat machine opened up. He stepped into the pod and sat down. The achievements from the simulation pod are recorded on the Earth Youth Rankings, a leaderboard dedicated to university entrance exam candidates, also known as the Genius Rankings. This is a martial arts power ranking recognized by all systems worldwide. Not even the elite class has any names on this board. So as long as I can achieve a high rank on the Earth Youth Rankings, I'll definitely have a chance to enter the elite class based on my own strength. Through the simulation machine, he appeared in a new dimension. I've always been in the glass space and haven't used the simulation pod before. I should warm up first. Chengdu's avatar, its face hidden by a cute pig head, materialized and teleported into a blank white three-dimensional space. He looked around wondering, oh, where's my opponent? A voice rang out, "Your reaction is too slow." It turned out his opponent was a petite girl hiding on the wall right behind him. The girl suddenly lunged down, attacking with a dagger. He instinctively raised his sword to block it. Seeing her attack fail, the girl immediately spun and retreated. "Not a bad reaction." "This isn't a school test, so there's no need to greet your opponent before fighting." Chengdu assumed a battle stance. "Lesson learned. But I won't give you another chance to sneak attack me." After that, the two began a life-or-death battle. Every sword slash tore through the air, and phantom images appeared everywhere. Chengdu quickly matched her speed. He unleashed the Azure Dragon Point Pierce. The girl astutely recognized it. "Is the move you just used the Azure Dragon Point Pierce? That move is clearly a piercing thrust, yet you're using it as a sword strike." This time, the girl kicked him straight in the stomach. "The 4 forms of flowing light don't need to be bound by a fixed form. You have to focus more on the martial art itself." After hearing that, Chengdu had an epiphany. That's right. Why should a sword move be constrained by form? But how did she recognize my sword skill? While he was lost in thought, a thrust from his opponent sliced off the ear of his pig-head avatar. The girl now appeared right in front of him. Stop getting distracted. She's so strong. Moreover, I can't figure out what kind of basic martial art she's even learned. Who is she? Just as he slashed towards the girl, in the blink of an eye, she was above his head, preparing to strike down with a full-power thrust. "You're too careless." As she spoke, the attack pierced his head. He felt his consciousness fading. Chengdu thought resentfully, "Damn, she's a total troll." The information for the two appeared: bear pen lost to girl who sells nuclear bombs. Win points -10. He returned to the starting point. "She's clearly strong enough to beat me straight up, but she resorts to sneak attacks. Think more about the martial art itself." The flowing light sword style has a total of 4 forms. Right now, I'm on the Azure Dragon. Point Pierce and I haven't even mastered it. It's supposed to be a very normal piercing move. Its properties are a bit like a close combat assassin. Wait a minute, assassins specialize in sneak attacks. But my fighting style is too direct. In that case, I'll try this new way of thinking in actual combat, and see if it's correct. After entering the matchmaking queue, this time his opponent was a huge, muscular, bulky guy. His main weapon was a chain with 2 giant iron balls attached. Chengdu was a bit surprised. First I ran into a troll, and now I'm up against a weapon that counters mine. What kind of messed-up matchmaking system is this? But he still decided to fight the opponent head-on, because his martial skill was higher, giving him the advantage. This time, his move had a slight variation, catching the opponent off guard. He landed a direct hit, withdrawing a prison on the ground. Next, he aimed for the chin with the golden bell tolls to the heavens, making the opponent dizzy and spit. To think he'd been hit by some snot-nosed kid who had successfully sneak-attacked him twice. He angrily yelled, "Hey, kid! That's not how you use a sword. Don't think you can do whatever you want, just because your martial skill is a little better than mine." He yanked the chain hard, sending the iron ball flying toward him. Chengdu didn't agree with that sentiment. He used clear wind under the forest, unleashing countless attacks on the iron ball to prove his point. The ball was sent flying back toward its owner by the powerful impact. While he was still in shock, not understanding what happened, Chengdu placed his sword against his neck and declared, "I'm the one who's right." "What, weren't you just in front of me, kid?" Without bothering to reply, he used the Azure Dragon Point Pierce to finish off his opponent. The information for the two appeared: bear pen 1 Wang Da Chuan lost. Win points +10, immediately after he was returned to the initial space. That was the first time I was able to properly execute the Azure Dragon Point Pierce. Was it because of the sword or because of the technique? Technique doesn't just mean dexterity, but constant transformation. It can be hard or soft, hidden or revealed. It can be as fast as lightning, but also as gentle as flowing water. The Azure Dragon Point. Pierce, a move from the flowing light sword style, has helped me understand that a sword can be used honorably in the open, but it can also be used for a stealthy attack. Therefore, a sword is a weapon that cannot be defined. Ding, congratulations, host. Flowing light sword style has increased from 89% stage 1 to 90% stage 1. Real combat plus enlightenment. In that case, let's keep fighting. Congratulations to this host. Your flowing light sword. Technique has improved. Let's fight again. Congratulations to the host, your flowing light sword. Technique has improved again, and again, and again, after a frantic round of matchmaking. He was so hungry that he had to log out of the simulated battle pod. Phew, I'm starving to death. Suddenly, his smartwatch buzzed with a notification. Congratulations, Master, you have entered the top 10,000 of the Earth Youth rankings. Chen Duo was stunned. The top 10,000 Earth Youth rankings. Quick, open the rankings for me. I need to see the details. Earth Youth rankings rank 6,219. 7th Ecosystem. Youth rankings rank 654. Ziyun District Youth rankings rank 7. Liangcheng Youth rankings rank 1. All right, Master has finished reading the personal rankings. Chen Du couldn't hide his excitement. I can't believe that after mastering the Azure Dragon Puncture, I actually became #1 in Liangcheng. My spot in the elite class is guaranteed now. Back at the sports field of Liangcheng #1 High School, the students were all gathered in one spot while our protagonist, Chen Duo, slung his backpack over his shoulder and started heading home. Suddenly, a harsh voice called out from a distance. Chen Duo, you see a teacher and don't know how to greet him. What kind of manners are those? This man is Feng Liguo Feng Rui's uncle, and also the Dean of Academic Affairs at Liangcheng #1 High. He gave a half-hearted, perfunctory greeting. Hello, sir. That's because he hadn't yet realized this man was Feng Rui's uncle. Feng Liguo pointed a finger straight in his face and announced, At the start of the new semester, I am the Dean in charge of Academic Affairs. I'll be conducting a full inspection of everyone's appearance. What in the world are you wearing? The school uniform, sir. Right. The other students saw this and started laughing at his expense. Ha 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 ha! Feng Liguo shouted, Quiet! Since they couldn't say it to his face, the crowd started whispering behind their hands. Chen Du is so screwed. Feng Rui still isn't out of the hospital. His uncle is definitely going to get revenge for him. I heard Chen Duo only won because he took a banned substance. He deserves it. And here I thought he was actually skilled. The old man started using his ruler to point at things he didn't like, berating him endlessly. This part and this part, it's all unacceptable. But Chen Duo remained expressionless as he retorted. Everything I'm wearing is in compliance with school regulations. I don't understand what part of it is unacceptable. Feng Liguo, fuming with rage, started to sound like a common thug. You dare talk back to me! This time, Chen Duo couldn't hold back and grabbed the man's ruler. Disobeying instructions and talking back to a teacher. I'm going to report you to the principal and have you expelled. Just then, a cold voice drifted over from a distance. Who was it that wanted to see me? On the left is Li Mu, the principal of Liangcheng #1 High, and on the right is Wang Anquan, the mayor of Liangcheng. The moment Feng Liguo saw Li Mu, his attitude did a complete 180. He pointed at Chen Duo and accused, Principal, it's him! Li Mu smiled upon hearing his name. So you're Chen Duo? Yes, sir. My name is Chen Duo. Chen Duo, we came here specifically to find you. This is Mayor Wang. Hello, Mayor Wang. May I ask what you needed to see me about, young man? You not only topped the Liangcheng youth rankings, but you even made it into the top 10,000 of the Earth youth rankings. I absolutely had to find out for myself just what kind of prodigy you are. Ha ha ha! His words struck the other students like a thunderclap. Their eyes went wide and their jaws dropped. What, the top 10,000 of the Earth youth rankings? Holy crap, Chen Duo is actually that strong. He's been hiding his true strength all this time. With that kind of power, there's no way he needed to use any drugs to beat Feng Rui. He's on a whole other level. He's the real deal. He's a shoo-in for the elite class. Yes, first come with us to the meeting room. I have something I want to discuss with you privately. Yes, sir. After we finish our conversation, you can head straight to the elite class to register. Teacher Lang specifically instructed me yesterday to make sure you were transferred to the elite class. Scene change inside the meeting room. The young man on the left is Liu Ba, ranked #2 in the elite class, a third-year student from Liangcheng #1 High. On the right is Mo Lighty, ranked #1 in the elite class of Liangcheng #1 High. Hello, Mayor. Hello, Mayor. The three who were strangers exchanged glances and then nodded in greeting as they would soon become comrades in arms. Once everyone was seated, Mayor Wang got straight to the point. The 100 cities and counties under the jurisdiction of our Ziyun district are preparing to hold a martial arts competition, specifically for third-year high school students. Each city will send its top 3 third-year students based on the martial skills rankings, which were finalized at 6 p.m. yesterday evening. A martial artist above level 15 will lead each team to participate in the 3-day 100-city tournament held at Haicheng #1 High School. The top 10 teams from this tournament will receive bonus points and varying cash prizes for their college entrance exams. The minimum reward is 10 points and 100,000. Are you interested in participating? Mo Liti raised his hand. Mayor, if the participants are chosen based on the martial skills rankings, why isn't the competition itself held in a simulated combat environment? Mayor Wang nodded approvingly. That's an excellent question. The district leaders unanimously agreed that compared to simulated battles, real combat is a more effective measure of skill. There will be high-level martial artists on site at all times to ensure everyone's safety. Furthermore, throughout the entire competition, you will all wear special uniforms and fight with the same life force level of 4. Chen Duo thought to himself, with my current level of martial skill, I'm at least in the top 20 of Zayun District. Adding in my daily rate of improvement, getting into the top 3 shouldn't be a problem. Seeing the three of them looking thoughtful, Mayor Wang continued. Even if you don't make it into the top 10, this is a great opportunity to spar with other prodigies your age and reassess your own abilities. So don't put too much pressure on yourselves. After a moment of deliberation, all three agreed. Mayor Principal, I'll participate. We will too. Excellent. You are all truly worthy of being called heroes of our youth. Once the departure time is set, we will inform you beforehand. You may all return to your classes for now. 10 minutes later, Chen Duo was on his way to the elite classroom thinking, if I can place in the top 3 at the 100-city tournament, my parents won't have to risk their lives working day and night anymore, just to make a living. The top 3 in this 100-city tournament. I will claim one of those spots no matter what. While the other students were still talking and finding their seats, Chen Duo had already picked a desk in the very first row. In the past, the desks in his classes, all the desks were labeled with student names but not in the elite class, so he just sat down wherever. Just then, a rough hand grabbed his shoulder. Hey, who the hell do you think you are to be sitting here? This arrogant guy was Bang Ho, ranked 10th in the elite class. He looked at his brawny, muscular frame and thought to himself, is there a bear in this class? Trando stood up. His eyes, showing no hint of fear, stared straight into his opponents. What era are we in? You still want to play this school bully game? Just as he was about to teach Bang Ho a lesson, Dak suddenly appeared and stopped the two of them. Bang Ho Trando is here for the first time. He doesn't know the rules of the elite class yet. Don't hold it against him. Trando was slightly shocked, sweat trickling down his cheek. This guy managed to approach me without a sound. His vitality level must be at least 2 levels higher than mine. Hearing this, Bang Ho decided to let him go, but still snorted contemptuously. Consider yourself lucky. Out of respect for my big bro Dak, I'll spare you. He watched Bang Ho's back as he walked away. Dak whispered in his ear. It's your first time in the elite class, so you might not know this. Strength determines your seat here. Once a month we fight to decide the seating arrangement. We use a real combat format to determine student rankings. The ones in the bottom 10 have to stand during class for the next month. Then he pointed to a few students standing at the back of the room. He could only click his tongue at the sight. He never expected the competition in the elite class to be so fierce. Dak didn't forget to add, however, since it's already the beginning of the month, the seating for this month has already been decided. So in a little while, you can use the challenge format to win a seat. Trando smirked and asked, besides getting to sit in class, I wonder, are there any other benefits to the seating rank? After all, this will determine how much effort I'll need to put into my ranking. Of course, the higher the seat, the better, because it determines the support resources you'll receive for the month. With that, Dak proudly returned to his #1 ranked seat. Trando thought of the resources that could help him rapidly increase his strength, and maybe even win first place in the 100 Battles tournament, and make his parents proud. Ambition burned within Trando. In that case, it's worth going all out. Only with resources can I surpass the geniuses from the other 100 cities in a short amount of time. As usual, Teacher Lang appeared to officiate. All right, class has started. Everyone head directly to the combat room next door. Back in the combat room, the students stood in neat, disciplined rows. Teacher Lang walked over, patted Trando's shoulder, and began to explain the rules for challengers. You can make a maximum of 3 challenges. I will assign you a seat based on your performance. The main character directly chose his opponent. Sir, I want to challenge rank 10. Even the teacher was surprised and had to take a second look. The students erupted like a disturbed beehive. What, did I hear that right? He's challenging this top 10 on his first day. This Trando guy looks so honest and sincere. So why is he so arrogant? Teacher Lang calculated silently. This kid's martial arts skills are outstanding, but his vitality level is still far behind. Compared to the others in the elite class, this bit of strength isn't enough to challenge the top 10. Ignoring everyone's stares, Trando had already decided he had to give it his all. The support resources for the top 10 are 50% more than for rank 11. I have to get it no matter the cost. The 10th ranked student in the elite class appeared. It was none other than Bang Ho. For a newbie to the elite class, you've got a big mouth. Don't let me beat you until your nose bleeds. Trando was stunned. You're rank 10. He never expected the person he randomly challenged would be Bang Ho. Talk about a small world. Bang Ho bared his pearly white teeth. His tone was arrogant. That's right. You must have some seriously bad luck to have picked me. Teacher Lang suddenly appeared beside them and reminded Bang Ho, put on your protective gear before entering the arena. He thought to himself, I thought he was a calm and steady person, but I didn't expect him to be so eager to prove himself. Still, this is good. Let him get a taste of failure. It will be a good learning experience for him. Once the two finished putting on their protective gear and stood on the competition stage ready to fight, Teacher Lang signaled for them to begin. Hey, punk, are you ready? Just wait. Soon you'll be clinging to my leg crying and begging. Trando didn't back down, unleashing his own aura. Well, then I'm really looking forward to it. As soon as he finished speaking, his opponent's fist was right in front of his face. Bang Ho smirked smugly. Your reaction is way too slow. The spectating students roared with excitement. Trando's vitality level is a whole level lower than Bang Ho's. Let's make a bet, everyone, let's risk it. A difference of just 0.1 in vitality level can affect the outcome of a fight. Let alone a full level difference. Trando is definitely going to lose this time. Teacher Lang squinted in astonishment. It's level 5.2. Trando's vitality level was 5.1 before. How could it have increased to 5.2 after just one day? That was so fast. Bang Ho laughed triumphantly. You're definitely going to lose, ha 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 ha! But when the large mace slammed down, he had vanished without a trace. What? As he looked down in confusion, Trando was already standing right in front of him like a ghost. His hand gripped his sword, preparing to strike, when Trando smirked slightly. In a flash, a soaring dragon point thrust shot up from below, piercing straight into Bang Ho's stomach. Holy crap! Bang Ho's body flew backwards into the air and fell right off the fighting stage as all the students watched. His arm was trembling. Teacher Lang grabbed it firmly. This is the soaring dragon point thrust. Has your martial arts skill already reached the perfect first stage? Trando nodded and replied, I had a lucky breakthrough last night. Hearing this, Teacher Lang was completely shocked. A lucky breakthrough you managed to improve by 90% in a single night. This was simply outrageous. Noticing the teacher was still gripping his hand tightly, he pointed and said quietly, teacher. Teacher Lang quickly let go of his hand and announced loudly, the winner is Trando. Oh my god, holy cow, Trando actually won. He was a whole level above him. Absolutely insane. A one-hit victory. Moleta stroked his chin. Unbelievable. I never expected Trando to be such a rising star. He truly lives up to his reputation as the first person from Luangtan to make it into the top 10,000 youths on Earth. Teacher Lang continued, You've won seat number 10. Do you want to continue challenging? No, Trando replied. No, sir. He figured that even if he could climb to the higher seats, the resources wouldn't change much. It was better to conserve his strength for now. Just as he left the stage, Moleta walked up to him holding out his smartphone. Trando, let's exchange phone numbers. We're classmates. It'll be easier to stay in touch. Me too. I want to add you too. He gave a strained smile and replied, Okay. Even the guy he had just defeated. Bang Ho was hugging his thigh, his voice full of adoration. Oh, great Master Trando, a great man like yourself wouldn't hold a grudge against a lowly person like me. Please don't mind the things I said earlier. Trando was stunned. He never thought this guy knew how to apologize. As he was walking past the students, Teacher Lang suddenly remembered something. Trando, after class, come to my office. Time passed. After class, Principal Li Mu was writing a report when he heard a knock on the door. Come in. Teacher Lang led him inside and asked, Principal, are there any early admission slots left for Mount Everest Martial Arts University or Mount Tai Martial Arts University in our system? You two have a seat first. Why are you asking about this? I want to see if Trando can try to get into a university through the early admission program. The principal stroked his beard, pondering. Both Mount Everest Martial Arts University and Mount Tai Martial Arts University are among the top 8 martial arts universities. Their minimum requirement for students is that their martial arts skill must reach the perfect first stage. Don't be fooled that Trando's skill is only 1% away now. That 1% is a massive gap that could take several months or even years to overcome. Teacher Lang urged the principal, enough talk. Doesn't our school have a machine to test students' martial arts skills? Just let him try. Lang Yun, you really are a stubborn one. The principal pointed towards a robot. The machine is over there. Its upper limit is the high first stage, which is perfect for testing students. Tran, do I want you to replicate the attack from your match? Just now. Stand in front of the machine in the corresponding position and attack. Understanding that Teacher Lang was fighting for this opportunity for him, Trando immediately adjusted his body, focused his spiritual energy, his eyes clear of any stray thoughts. Once again, Trando executed the move. Soaring Dragon Point thrust. It shattered the machine. Even the machine's sturdy head flew right into the principal's hands, much to his astonishment. What I didn't expect this either. Yesterday afternoon, he was still at the high first stage. He had a breakthrough last night, and now he's already at the perfect first stage. Trando scratched his head sheepishly. Sorry, Principal. I didn't mean to break the machine. Teacher Lang aggressively advised the principal he is an absolute combat genius. This innate victory-driven combat instinct is incredibly rare. To be honest, in all my years of teaching, this is the first time I've met a student who gives me the feeling of a seasoned veteran, as if he's been through countless life-or-death trials to get where he is. The main character flinched, his secret exposed. That teacher's intuition is incredibly sharp. The principal nodded in admiration. A genius, an absolute martial arts genius. He needs to be nurtured as a top priority. For now, allocate the training resources for seat number 1 to him. As for the early recruitment, I'll handle communications. Regarding the 100 Cities tournament, Tran, you must try to get into the top 3. That way your chances will be 99% certain. He raised his hand. Excuse me, Teacher Principal, what is early admission? Teacher Lang explained, in the university entrance exams, to get into the top 8 universities, your life force intensity needs to be at least level 6.5. With your current life force intensity, it would be extremely difficult to reach that standard before the exams. However, if you take the special admission route, the candidate, he only needs to have reached the perfect first stage 1 month prior. At that time, instructors from Mount Everest Martial Arts University and Mount Tai Martial Arts University will come to the school to test you after the 100 Cities tournament ends. Trando asked in return, so if I pass the early admission and get accepted into one of these 2 universities, so can I still normally apply to other martial arts universities? Do you have a specific martial arts university in mind? If it's possible, I want to apply to Huangshan Martial Arts University. The resources of the 8 major universities are nothing to scoff at. Chengdu said nothing. He recalled 6 years ago when the Cloud Thunder District of Westlake City was attacked by the ancient race, and although the city's defense team and the defense teams from neighboring cities provided timely support, the limited number of warriors still led to the deaths of 100,000 people. Chengdu's gaze fell, his voice firm and unyielding. I hope my family will be safe. If Liang Cheng ever truly faces any danger, I hope I can return immediately to save them. Ling Yun finally understood. Ah, so that's why. People who think like that are usually those who have experienced the loss of family. For a young man from a happy family to still possess such awareness, he's definitely someone who can shoulder great responsibilities. Consider these 2 schools your backup plan in case you don't get into Huangshan Martial Arts University. Would going to one of these 2 schools be acceptable? The principal shook his head and sighed. Unfortunately, no. If you accept the early admission program, you have to sign a binding contract with the school. Ling Yun stepped forward and patted his shoulder. If you achieve a high rank in the competition, the city championship tournament a month from now, then you're almost guaranteed to be accepted into these 2 schools. I've already calculated everything for you. If you get in through special early admission, you can also get an extra 100 points. If you don't choose the early admission path, not only does your life force intensity need to reach level 6.5, but your university exam score can only be reduced by a maximum of 30 points. Based on my experience, I'm advising you not to gamble with your future. Hearing this advice, Chengdu smiled warmly. Thank you, Teacher Ling and Principal. I will think about it very carefully. After that, he slung his bag over his shoulder and went home. The early admission period will happen after the city championship tournament, which is more than a month from now. From today until the university entrance exams, I'll be focused in the special martial arts room designated by the school to concentrate on improving my strength during this time. I might as well try using medicine to speed up the process of increasing my life force intensity. The thing I want is definitely here. After all, this place belongs to the Techno-Martial Hall. In the entire high martial arts civilization, the pinnacle of power is comprised of 3 major forces. These 3 great organizations work together to protect the future and hope of humanity. They are respectively the organization that confronts alien civilizations, the Limitless Martial Hall; the organization that enhances the overall strength of humanity, the Techno-Martial Hall; and the organization responsible for maintaining humanity's law and order, the Warriors Alliance. The founder of the Techno-Martial Hall is none other than Duragas, praised as the 2nd strongest expert on Earth. Although his strength doesn't match Yan's, his immense contributions to the overall development of humanity are undeniable. After walking a bit further to buy medicine, someone proactively approached to greet him. Welcome, esteemed customer. It is a pleasure to serve you. Hello, I'd like to buy 3 boxes of thunderous chi blood pills. Thunderous chi blood pills, you say? That type of medicine can't be purchased directly. You need to undergo an endurance test. Please follow me. He thought to himself, the thunderous chi blood pill is one of the best chi and blood supplements available for ordinary people to buy before becoming a warrior. However, this medicine also carries some potential risks. After consumption, its medicinal properties will transform into lightning, spreading through all the meridians in the body. If the user cannot maintain a high degree of mental concentration for 30 minutes, the lightning within will become chaotic and disorderly, potentially even endangering their own safety. Please step in here. Therefore, before we can sell the medicine, we must conduct endurance tests to avoid any unwanted situations. Mr. Chen, if you have no further questions, no further, then I will now press the start button. He placed his hand on the measurement screen. I'm ready. The girl walked over to the switch and flipped it on. Seeing he showed no sign of pain during the test, she thought the machine was broken and quickly made a call. Hello? Hello, is this the technical department? The testing machine for the thunderous chi blood pill seems to be broken. Thanks to that incident, he easily bought the medicine and took it with him. Back at school in Chengdu's private martial arts room, he sat cross-legged in a corner reading the instructions. 1 pill per day, 1 course lasts for 10 consecutive days. A maximum of 3 pills can be taken at once. Note: taking 3 pills at once will cause 5 times the discomfort of taking 1 pill. Whether you take 1 to 3 pills, the effect still lasts for 30 minutes. After 3 to 5 courses, the body will begin to develop a resistance and the effects will gradually diminish. This time he decided to take out 3 pills at once, thinking, the endurance test at the store today was only at 50% of the intensity of taking a single pill. It was a piece of cake. Taking all 3 pills at once should be 10 times more painful than the test at the store, but I'm sure I can handle it. He confidently tossed 3 pills into his mouth at once, but just a second later, he began to feel the bone-deep agony that the Thunder Blood Key pill brought with it. Even so, he tried his best to endure. His eyes were filled with confidence. Is this all it's got? 30 minutes later, Chengdu was drenched in sweat, his breathing ragged. A mechanical voice suddenly rang out. Congratulations, host! Vitality level increased from level 5.2 to level 5.3. Chengdu instantly felt his spirit restored, clenching his fists and saying, Excellent! Now I'm 1 step closer to level 6.5. Just 1 more step. As long as my vitality level can improve this fast, I can turn down that early special admission path. But the original plan was to take this medicine for a month. Now it seems I can only take it for 10 days. Based on my card balance, I only have enough for 55 days. At this rate, it looks like I absolutely have to get into the top 2 in the 100 Cities tournament. That's the only way I can get the money to continue my development. I didn't expect the side effects of using the Thunder Blood Key pill for the first time to be so severe. It seems the devastation caused by the lightning power inside my body has temporarily left me unable to move. He instinctively lay down on the floor and fell asleep. My body is so tired. I have to raise my spiritual power. Crystal space. I'm coming. Time passed. He woke up stretching to warm up his muscles. I fought against the 6-armed giants in the crystal space for an entire night. Although I haven't managed to defeat them yet, my spiritual power has increased quite a bit. Chengdu recalled the scene frantically slashing at one 6-armed giant after another. A thought dawned on him. The school's resource stipend should have arrived by now. I can't wait to get to class. An unknown amount of time passed. Chengdu finally arrived at the elite class. The spiritual power teacher for the elite class, who was also a member of the Martial Artist Alliance, was named Yadi, a stunning beauty with a killer body. Students, today we will learn about the combat tactics of martial artists, specifically the application of spiritual power in actual combat. The spiritual power class was a unique course for the elite class, only for talented students who possessed level 2 spiritual power. The vitality levels of the teachers in charge were even higher than level 15. Teacher Yadai emphasized, the higher the level of your martial technique, the more your physical strength will develop. However, properly controlling your spiritual power can amplify in the physical strength activated by your martial techniques by several times. Spiritual power, which is normally dispersed throughout the body, allows us to focus that excess energy into a single point. This enhances the explosive power of each martial artist and brings out all their hidden potential for its intended purpose. That is the application of spiritual power. Chengdu looked around and thought to himself, The fact that no one seems surprised suggests that everyone has probably already learned and mastered this spiritual power augmentation ability. Teacher Yadai seriously reminded them. I want to remind everyone here that before your spiritual power augmentation reaches level 10, the amount of physical strength you can mobilize is extremely limited. Therefore, I recommend that you don't waste too much time studying it in depth. To get a high score on the university entrance exam, you should still focus on raising your vitality level. Next, I'm going to test your spiritual power. All students, please stand up. After speaking, she materialized an exquisite flute. In a moment, I will play an exhaustion melody on this piccolo flute to test the extent of your spiritual power. I hope everyone's results are better than last semester's. Student Chengdu, you may choose whether or not to participate. This will not affect your university entrance exam score. Me, she probably thinks I only have level 1 spiritual power. She probably thinks a single note from her flute will knock me right out and she's worried I'll be embarrassed. At that thought, Chengdu's competitive spirit flared up. He replied loudly and confidently, Teacher, I'd like to participate. Teacher Yadai thought to herself, teenagers, always so competitive. Spiritual power is no simple matter. The other students in the elite class have struggled immensely with this. Oh well, he is the student that Ling Yun is particularly interested in. When he fails in a moment, I'll just keep him behind and teach him a lesson personally. All right? In a moment, I want you all to focus all your energy on resisting. I will use my exhaustion melody to deplete both your bodies and your minds at the same time. The students, all excited, shouted in unison, Yes! Immediately after, an enchanting melody rang out, enveloping the entire classroom. Chengdu felt as he was being pulled into an illusion, his mind beginning to disintegrate. When he came to, he was facing an entity made of spiritual power, but before he could react, it launched a kick at him. Chengdu thought to himself, what a powerful spiritual and physical hypnosis technique. But he was even more excited to test his own strength. As the teacher played her flute, she could sense the illusion she had created. Chengdu actually managed to block it. He didn't even break a sweat. It was as effortless as breathing. Not bad. It seems his spiritual power is more stable than I imagined. I wonder how long Chengdu can hold on. In that case, I'll raise the spiritual power by 1 level. As she finished her thought, Yadi channeled more spiritual power into the music, causing the students who were already struggling to resist to go limp, their faces twisting with all sorts of expressions as the world spun around them. Those with lower rankings immediately fainted. Damn it, I can't hold on any longer. My legs are giving out. I can't stand. This is exhausting. I can't take it anymore. She took in the state of all the students. As expected, most of the people here, they all couldn't take it anymore. So what about Chengdu? But she was shocked to see he was still resisting. His whole body had only trembled slightly. What, Chengdu can still hold on? This kid's family is so poor he definitely can't afford any mental defense items. Could it be he has a natural talent for mental power on top of his martial arts talent? And a talent for mental power, those are 2 completely different fields. This is the first time I've ever seen someone who possesses both talents at the same time. Meanwhile, Pang Hu had already given up long ago. Seeing the person who defeated him still enduring, he burst out laughing. Ha ha ha! The stronger Chengdu is, the more it proves that I'm not weak at all. It's no wonder I lost yesterday. The others stared at Chengdu with looks of astonishment, shock, admiration, awe, and existential doubt. Even Mo Lita, the strongest person in the elite class, was now sprawled on the ground, panting heavily. That brat Chengdu, not only does he have monstrous martial arts talent, but he also has a talent for mental power. Our Liangcheng First High has produced a real prodigy. Miss Adip's heart was in turmoil watching his performance. The top student in the class collapsed at level 6, but Chengdu is enduring level 7. In that case, let's see how he handles level 8 mental power. With that thought, she increased the pressure again, causing his whole body to tremble more intensely. He started panting heavily. This time, inside the illusionary realm, the monster he was facing had become 10 times larger and stronger. It used its wind-like speed to attack him relentlessly, giving him no chance to counterattack. Chengdu's first thought was its punches are really heavy. His body had been sent rolling inside the realm who knows how many times. The heavy feeling in his body made it impossible to regulate his breathing, and he panted continuously. So this is a mental power showdown. It's not just mentally exhausting, but physically as well. This time, even Miss Adip had to praise him silently. His mental power far exceeds his life force intensity. This is truly a miracle. What's more, Chengdu's martial arts talent is extremely high. He could completely choose the path of suppressing enemies with his mental power and then crushing them with his powerful body. He's simply the most perfect warrior to deal with the Dayan civilization. As the scene changes to the principal's office, his ear-piercing scream startles a staff member outside. What Chengdu has dual talents in both martial arts and mental power. Miss Adeep nodded in confirmation, her voice filled with wonder. That's right. I personally confirmed it in class. Ling Yun solemnly swore. I just spoke with Chengdu about his current situation, and I can guarantee that this kid absolutely has the potential to become a martial artist. Level 20. He even has a chance of becoming a sky-rank martial artist. Hearing their reports on Chengdu's potential, the principal nodded repeatedly, the excitement unconcealed on his face. Miss Adeep was stunned when Ling Yun said Chengdu had the potential to become a sky-rank martial artist, the very same sky rank who can traverse thousands of miles in a single day. The principal spoke excitedly. A sky rank martial artist is a 1 in 10,000 existence. If a genius like Chengdu goes to one of the 8 major universities, it would be a great loss for humanity. He shouldn't take the standard university entrance exam. He must aim for one of the top 3 martial arts universities where only those with the chance to become sky rank martial artists are accepted. I have confirmed accurate information. After the 100 Cities tournament, the Black Dragon Martial Arts University, one of the top 3 martial arts universities, will be holding admissions in our city. Beizhai City Ling Yun, you must convince Chengdu to participate. Teacher Ling Yun nodded. Yes, Principal. Back in the office, he met privately with Chengdu. Sir, you were looking for me. Chengdu, have you heard of Black Dragon University? Yes, I have. But I only know they're one of the 3 biggest top-tier martial arts schools. I don't know much else. The teacher explained in detail that's normal, because the top 3 martial arts universities don't recruit through the standard college entrance exam. They only recruit geniuses who have the potential to break through to the sky rank. This level represents a state of transcendent sainthood. To be accepted, you must meet the following requirements: a life force intensity of 9.9 and mid-tier, first stage martial skills. However, among high school martial artists and above, only 50% ever reach the mid-tier. Although life force intensity can be boosted with blood elixirs, very few can afford them. Many people can't even afford blood-replenishing milk. Even if they make money later, the best time for training has already passed. Have you ever thought about that? Teacher Ling Yun's words made him fall silent. Then he firmly made his choice. Sir, I want to try for the Black Dragon Martial Arts University, because in his heart he thought if I can, I really don't want to be far from my family. In my current situation, leaving could very well be a final goodbye. Ling Yun stepped forward and patted his shoulder. Do your best. Based on your current situation, taking the early admission route will almost certainly get you into one of the top 8 universities. You could even use the top 8 universities as a backup plan, and then aim for the Black Dragon Martial Arts University. Your future will be even brighter. Chengdu thought to himself, there's still a month until the 100 Cities tournament. I should focus on that first. As for everything else, I can decide after seeing the results of the tournament. It's not too late to think about it then. The scene changes to Chengdu's house. As soon as he walked in, he heard his younger sister's voice. Lunch is ready. Come and eat. Over here. While chewing her food, his sister secretly sized up her brother. Why do I feel like my big brother has been giving off a completely different vibe lately? His physique is better, he's more handsome, has more charisma, and he even gives off an unfathomable feeling. Seeing that his whole family was gathered, Chengdu suddenly announced his decision. Mom, Dad, Sis. Starting today, I'm planning to live at school to focus on improving my strength and prepare for the 100 Cities tournament in a month. When his mother heard this, a pained expression appeared on her face. Son like this? Will you even have time to rest? It's right to work hard, but you also have to take care of your body. Chen Ling quickly asked, Big brother, weren't the dorm rooms already assigned before the semester? It has started. How can you apply for a room now? Chengdu smiled reassuringly. Mom, don't worry. The school has given me a lot of resources. I won't have to go through what happened before. Every student in the elite class gets a personal martial arts training room. Inside, there's a separate break room. I'll train and rest in my martial arts room. Over on the side, his father Chen He raised a fist in encouragement. That's what I'm talking about. Son, you have to maintain this passion and strive to rise higher. If you need anything, just tell your mom and me. All you need to do is charge forward. Hearing this, a warm feeling flowed through Chengdu. He stood up, grabbed his bag, and emotionally thanked his family. I'm done eating. I'm heading to school now. I definitely won't let everyone down, but you have to take care of yourself, okay? Good boy, keep it up. My handsome big brother, work hard and bring home first place. Scene change. Liangcheng First High School. Chengdu rushed along carrying a pile of prepared items, 90 bags of chi and blood milk, 30 chi and blood pills 10, total chi and blood pills, and 4 packets of chi and blood powder. All the resources provided by the school were already delivered to the martial arts room, but these resources alone were worth at least 50,000. Martial arts truly is a profession reserved for the wealthy. He walked over and used his fingerprint to open his room. From now on, besides attending classes, I have to focus on practical combat training. He ordered the simulation robot, Xiaoxiong, increase gravity by 5 times. Yes, master, increasing gravity. His body immediately felt a mountain-like pressure. This must be equivalent to the weight of 15 adult elephants pressing down on me. And to fight a machine under these conditions is kind of interesting. 4th practice round begin. The robot threw a punch. He quickly used his sword to block it. In a supergravity environment, any incorrect exertion of force could lead to a torn muscle or bone damage. I can't face it head-on. I'll change my attack trajectory to defeat it. But the robot's eyes continuously tracked him, analyzing for weaknesses. Evasion efficiency 87%. However, energy consumption is relatively high. Advise minimizing unnecessary movement. But this time, he had to counter a surprise attack from its limbs. Attacked from above and below simultaneously, it completely cut off his usual escape routes. If I can't dodge, then you can experience this multiplied gravity too. He used all his strength to deliver a powerful kick to its supporting leg, and in a flash struck at its joint. The robot lost its balance and immediately tumbled down, one knee hitting the ground. One of its arm joints was severely damaged. Its crimson eyes glowed brighter as a mechanical voice rang out, "Final measure activated." This time, it used a spinning, mid-air maneuver, its 2 arms extending like a spider's web, giving him no chance to escape. Chengdu laughed coldly. "It can even cheat like this, huh? Crash, boom, bam!" The dust and smoke quickly cleared. In the end, his body was still pinned by a professional wrestling hold. Chengdu weakly ordered Xiaoxiong end the gravity state. "You can let me go now, right?" Final measure. Some final measure. After it was over, he sat cross-legged to meditate. My body seems to have reached its limit. Next, I'll use the illusory immortal visualization method to strengthen my spiritual power. First, I just need to relax my body. Chengdu once again sank into the otherworldly space. That god-level monster bared its teeth in a grotesque smile, its blood-red eyes locked onto him. He was already all too familiar with this type of cultivation of fate worse than death. A look of determination was clear in his eyes. Bring it on. My spiritual power experience points. After an unknown amount of time passed, he escaped the state of the illusory immortal visualization. His spiritual power had finally increased by 0.3 levels. But just as he was about to stand up, his whole body froze. Damn it, my leg's asleep. My mind is exhausted and my body hasn't fully recovered yet. I'll just sleep for a bit. Chengdu lay down in the training room and once again entered the crystal space to hone his martial skills, as well as trying to clear the stage and complete the mission. He pulled the sword embedded in the ground and walked towards the rumbling ancient demon tribe rushing towards him. These damn green giants! Last time, because I didn't know any better, I couldn't even kill a single one of them. This time I'm going to slaughter every last one of you. With those words, an aura like the ocean burst from his body. He stared down the green giant in front of him, silently analyzing the green spots on its body. They aren't signs of an innate seal, but an ability to heal in an instant. Trando charged directly towards the green spots on the giant demon. Besides its incredibly thick health bar, the green giant doesn't have any other abilities. Once its green spots are destroyed, it's no longer a threat. After all that gravity training, I feel like my body control under normal conditions has improved significantly. He dodged the attacks. With more and more stylish moves, timing it perfectly, he saw its green spot. Now's the chance. One strike straight through the brain. The first one's down. Trando, seething with bloodlust, turned to the next ones. This feeling of being as light as a swallow is amazing. When I wake up, I'll continue the gravity training. If I keep training like this, I'll definitely have a shot at the top 3 in the city championship. Scene change, Haithan City. The day everyone's been waiting for has finally arrived, the 100 City Championship. Teacher Lang Van leads the 3 of them into a luxurious hotel. It stood resplendent in the wealthy district. Let's go in, kids. Meanwhile, Trando was looking around. This is the first time I've ever stayed in a hotel this fancy. As they were walking, suddenly they heard an angry voice from afar. Why won't you let me check in? I was obviously on time. Why are you singling me out? You'd better give me an explanation. This person was Vo Tang, a member of the participating team from City 6. The young man looked furious enough to kill. The staff member stammered awkwardly, unsure of how to explain. Meanwhile, his hand was already on his sword. Trando thought, is he actually going to attack someone in here? He analyzed the situation for his two teammates. This guy has an incredibly powerful sword intent. His martial arts skills are probably on par with mine. Makloidak and Luba gasped in shock. What that crude guy's skills are that advanced, just as the tension in the air was about to snap, a beautiful woman with a stunning figure approached to defuse the situation. Let him check in. As for his teammates, just count them as having withdrawn. Introduction. Chu Tiu Kok, a participant from Haithan City. All the nearby martial artists who saw Chu Tiu Kok were stunned by her breathtaking beauty. It made them freeze for a few seconds, their breath catching at her pure ice-like elegance. It's the Sea Princess. Oh my God, she's even more beautiful in person than in her photos. Someone online once said she wasn't photogenic. I can't believe it was true. Seeing Trando's dazed look, Makloidak nudged him gently. See what I mean? I'd advise you to just give up now. Her name is Chu Tiu Kok, also known as the Sea Princess. She's the only daughter of the principal of Haithan No. 1 High School. Whether you're talking family background or wealth, reputation or talent, she's at the absolute top. A true goddess. She's completely out of your league. Trando looked over at Chu Tiu Kok. He suddenly remembered the first time he joined a match in the simulation room. That face. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. There's no mistake. She's the one. The number 6 who ambushed me in the simulation. The girl who deals in nukes. Her face is identical. I thought for sure it was just a computer-generated face. Who would have thought she's even more beautiful in real life than in the simulation? Makloidak saw him chuckling to himself while staring intently at her, and started to get worried. I actually ran into an online acquaintance in real life, but she probably won't recognize me. Her martial arts skills have already reached the first stage of perfection. That's one level higher than me. I wonder where she's at now. This 100-city championship was definitely the right decision. Scene change to room 301. The team from Not Trung Luong Tan was assigned to this room. Teacher Lang Van informed them. The head organizer just announced in the meeting that the rules are different this year. This time there will be a badge hunt battle before the knockout tournament. The three of them asked in unison, a badge hunt? What exactly are these new rules? Teacher Lang Van slowly explained. This championship will last for 3 days, and it will consist of 3 rounds. The first round is the badge hunt, which takes place tomorrow in the forest. Within a 13-hour time limit, you must obtain badges with the character High and Marshall engraved on them. After you get the badges, head to the destination point to check in. The number of teams that qualify will depend on the number of badges each team collects. Teacher, how many badges are there in total? There are 50 High badges and 50 Marshall badges. That means a maximum of 50 teams can qualify. In other words, at least half of all participants will be eliminated. The second round is a one-on-one knockout tournament with very short breaks. 150 people will have to compete in a single day to select the top 10 strongest to participate. In the third round of the competition, although opponents are chosen at random, you won't be matched against your own teammates. Hearing this, the other 2 members of the team, everyone but Trando, breathed a sigh of relief. Thank God we don't have to fight a freak like Trando. The teacher continued. The third and final round is called the Top 10 Battle. Just making it this far is a victory in itself, because all top 10 contenders receive bonus points and cash prizes. As for making it into the top 3, that will depend on your condition. 3 consecutive days of fighting with very little rest, plus the risk of injury during the matches. The winner might not be the strongest individual fighter, but they will definitely be the most well-rounded in terms of overall strength. Teacher Lang stressed, and one last thing. Absolutely no killing. This rule applies not just in the competition, but for the rest of your lives. Our enemies are the alien civilizations, so never point your weapons at your own kind until that time. You will wear special suits to enter. On that day, everyone's life force intensity will be set to the same level. Your teachers, the team leaders, will also be inside. We'll be there to secretly protect you all. But it's best you don't force me to intervene, because if I do, it means you've been eliminated. Tomorrow, the reputation of Liangcheng First High rests entirely on your shoulders. Trust in yourselves. Just doing your best is all that matters. Hearing the rules and their teacher's words of encouragement, the 3 of them shouted in unison, Yes, sir. Scene changed to the next day. At Haicheng First High, Chengdu had put on his special suit. So this is the forest. I am Zhu Cheng, the principal of Haicheng First High, a voice announced. It seems everyone has arrived. I am Ju Cheng, principal of Haicheng No. 1 High School, and I am also one of the organizers of this 100 Cities tournament. The 4 gates in front of you lead into a forest. This is a special environment owned by Haicheng No. 1 High School, a spatial rift that was created hundreds of years ago. It was formed when the 9 great planets collided, and we call it a spirit realm. This is a level 1 spirit realm with the easiest difficulty, the wolf forest. Hearing this, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows in surprise. So it's a spirit realm. An alternate dimension with no trace of man, just monsters lurking everywhere. Ju Cheng continued, his voice lowering. Everyone rest assured. It is an extremely stable alternate dimension, and its absolute safety has been personally certified by the world's 3rd strongest expert and the founder of the Martial Artists Alliance, Ren. There is no problem. Also, I want to remind you all about the risk of death in this trial. Therefore, you must all pay the utmost attention to your own safety. He swept his sharp gaze toward an arrogant male student, Wu Tang. Don't think you can go it alone. Just because you came by yourself, we will arrange suitable teammates for you based on your skill level. In front, Chen Du snorted coldly, the corner of his mouth curling into a faint smirk as he glanced past that Wu Tang guy. This guy, why is he so annoying to look at? After finishing his instructions, Principal Ju Cheng immediately began the process of opening the Spirit Realm's gate. Iris verification successful. Now prepare to enter the wolf forest. Everyone slowly stepped toward a complex magic circle that emanated a mystical light. So this is the wolf forest, Principal Ju Cheng explained. The true location of the secret realm is top secret. This is a magic array that leads to the wolf forest, a backup measure that our ancestors painstakingly established. This is just a precautionary measure. In the event the spatial rift actually closes, we can use this magic array to teleport you all out. Everyone stand still inside the 3 arrays. In a moment, each team will be randomly teleported to one of 1,000 marked points inside the wolf forest. Of the 300 markers on the map, only 100 of them have badges. The rest are invalid markers. Good luck, everyone. Preparing to activate the teleportation array. As it activated, a swirling torrent of energy began to condense. A brilliant beam of light shone down on the magic circle, sweeping all the students away with it. When the main character opened his eyes, the scene before him was completely different. Ancient trees towered over him, obscuring the sky. A wave of primal energy washed over his face. So this is the inside of the spirit realm. Molita opened the map, then turned to ask for his opinion. Which marker should we head to now? Chengdu pointed to the closest marker on the map. Ba Di spoke up. Our luck isn't bad. There's a marker right near our starting point. Let's go over and see if it's real or fake. The other 2 immediately nodded in agreement. All right. The team cautiously traversed the treacherous terrain. A moment later, they saw a peculiar stone block. One of his teammates tried throwing a rock to touch it. Suddenly, a badge engraved with the character Hai appeared. Chengdu leisurely walked forward and picked it up to inspect it. I honestly thought the markers near the starting area would just be fakes. A total red herring. I never thought there'd be a real badge here. Looks like our luck isn't too shabby. All right, next we should choose. He trailed off as a sudden feeling of danger brushed past the back of his neck. A sharp, cold glint flashed in his eyes. Be careful. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 2 spears came whistling through the air, embedding themselves just inches from where the 2 of them stood. 3 strangers radiating killing intent emerged from the bushes, their voices full of menace. I can't believe someone was even faster than us. You're the Liangcheng team, right? If you don't want to be eliminated this early, then obediently hand over the badge. He glanced at the red armbands on the newly appeared group. This is the Kuncheng team. Their city's combined strength is much greater than ours. Generally speaking, the bigger the city, the stronger its students are. At the same time, outside the spirit realm in the auditorium stands of Liangcheng First High, the large screen was showing his team directly. It looks like some of the teams have already run into each other. This quickly? They haven't even been inside for 10 minutes yet. Their initial starting points were probably close to each other, and they had the same target. The principal of the Kuncheng team, an old friend of Principal Li Mu named Cao Yan, sat beside him. He clapped Principal Li Mu on the shoulder with a smug look. Sorry, old friend. I'll pay for you and your students' plane tickets back to Liangcheng tonight. Ha ha ha! Li Mu's face darkened. How did we end up running into Cao Yan's students in the very first round? Back inside the spirit realm, Chengdu slowly drew the hilt of his sword. His voice was calm, but it carried an oppressive aura. Eliminate us with just you guys. The leader snorted contemptuously. Humph, I advise you to be a good boy and hand over your badges. Chengdu smirked in response. Are you really naive enough to think that a big city will always be able to crush a genius from a small city? Knowing his threats were useless, the young man got into a fighting stance. Well, then you'll have the honor of being the first team eliminated in this round. Remember this carefully. What creates strength isn't the city's label, but me, Li Yuan, the man destined to become the dominant spear king of Kun City. After speaking, he swung his spear and charged toward Chen Duo. Liu Ba and Mo Laita, hearing this, got fired up. Let us take them on. Chen Duo cut them off. Leave these three small fry to me. Let me handle this alone. As he was talking, the three on the other side simultaneously swung their deadly spears and charged forward. You don't know your place. Let me show you the difference between us. Li Yuan roared, Comet Spear Art's second form Crane's Descent. The three spears moved like an unstoppable force surrounding him. However, he just casually swung his sword once. With a clean clang, he knocked away all three attacks. Li Yuan's eyes widened in shock. What, he blocked our combined attack with just one sword strike and wasn't even at a disadvantage. He gritted his teeth and pushed with more force. Everyone's life force is suppressed to level 5, so how can he have such terrifying strength? He shook his head slightly, chuckling to himself. This Li Yuan guy's martial arts proficiency is capped at the high end of the first stage. No wonder he's so arrogant and boastful. But those other two goons are far weaker. His eyes sharpened, and with a single thought he added his level 9 spiritual power. This time he channeled all his strength into his arm, his muscles and sinews humming with power. He swung his sword, sending all three flying a great distance. What? They cried out in horror right after. He paid them no mind, his footsteps gliding like the wind as his sword flashed. Flowing light, swordplay, first form, drawing a prison on the ground. The sword energy swept over them like a tide, directly knocking out the two lackeys. They were brutally slammed against tree trunks, their faces contorted in pain as their spears stabbed into the ground. This time, only Li Yuan was left on the battlefield. Struggling to defend himself, he was drenched in sweat. Damn it! How is his sword so much heavier and more oppressive than my spear? Just how much hidden strength does this guy have? He bit his lip, gripping the shaft of his spear tightly as he staggered to his feet, not giving his opponent a chance to counterattack. Chen Du shot forward at full speed. If I'm going to fight, I might as well take down the strongest one. He tightened his grip on his sword, his demeanor as still as a deep abyss, as he began to chant, Flowing light, swordplay, second form, golden bell. But just as the terrifyingly powerful tip of his sword was about to descend, a hand suddenly reached out and clamped down on his blade with just 2 fingers. Turns out it was a supervising teacher. Arriving just in time to stop him, the teacher remarked, This is quite a powerful sword strike. Over on the side, Li Yuan, unable to accept it, roared, Teacher Lin Bei, I can still fight. No, you've lost. The teacher named Lin Bei shook his head and pointed toward Li Yuan's unconscious teammates. To be able to tear through your protective gear shows that his attack power has already reached the intensity of a level 7 life form, even if you were lucky enough to block that last strike. Yet you absolutely would not have survived the second one. Let's go. After speaking, he turned back to size him up from head to toe, inwardly shaken. This kid's talent is many times greater than Li Yuan's. He will definitely become a figure who can shake an entire region in the future. Thinking this, Lin Bei looked towards a distant treetop where Ling Yun was secretly hiding and observing. He called out softly, I'm leaving now. Ling Yun, I'm looking forward to your student's performance in the final 3. Li Yuan bitterly clenched his fists until they bled, gritting his teeth as he asked him, Hey, tell me your name. I, Li Yuan, rarely admire anyone, but you are worthy of being one of them. He sheathed his sword, his confident eyes glinting with pride. Chen Duo. The one who will win first place the day after tomorrow will be me. This shocking scene was immediately broadcast, shock to everyone watching outside. Principal Li Mu gloated, stroking his beard with a smug smile. Old cow, what time is your flight tonight? I'll book your ticket for you right now. Old cow's face turned ashen and he was left speechless and defensive. Old Chu. I didn't expect so many students to have martial techniques that reached the perfected first stage this year, including the boy from the Lang City team that makes 4 people already. But there are still only 3 spots in the top 3. A spectator who was watching intently quickly noticed something unusual. The Liang City team has already collected 2 badges. Why are they heading towards the moon-shaped marker that represents the exit right after getting a badge? Does that mean they're being eliminated directly? Back in the wolf forest, Liu Ba and Mo Laita looked at him in shock. What, you're planning on taking out that Wu Zhang guy here? Chen Du stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his demeanor calm and coldly indifferent as he said bluntly, Based on my strength, getting 2 badges is as easy as turning over my hand. His two friends had to nod in agreement, acknowledging the terrifying power he had just displayed. Chen Duo continued, "But I want to win the first-place championship for rich young masters. And ladies like you, it's about reputation, but I don't care about that empty prestige. But I desperately need the 1 million yuan prize money to survive. I'll explain it simply so you understand. The seeded contestants this time are Zhu Xiaogu and Qu Zhongtian from the High City team, along with Wu Zhang from the Liu City team. The High City team has two powerhouses. We simply can't deal with both of them at the same time. If we ambush Wu Zhang now, our chances of winning will be much higher. But by doing this, aren't you also clearing the path for the High City team by eliminating a formidable opponent?" He glanced at Liu Ba with a meaningful smile. "Liu Ba, you aren't looking far enough ahead. If I don't eliminate Votang here, then I probably won't even make it into the top 3. Logically, all 4 of us could advance to the second round, but in that round, teammates won't face each other directly. Haithun is the organizer this time. Do you guys really think I'll be lucky enough to get a special matchup against Votang just so the Haithun team can use me to advance to the next round without any trouble? You're analyzing this step by step like a master chess player setting an inescapable trap. No matter if I or Votang win in round 2, the victor will still have to face both of Haithani's monsters in the 3rd round. Ask yourselves, can I defeat 3 people who've reached the peak of the first stage in 2 consecutive days?" McLoy Dak had a sudden realization. "No wonder you're so determined to take that guy Votang down." Luba swallowed hard. "This is basically a secret plot. That's so devious. But it's a bit risky for you guys," he said, his face serious, spelling out what would happen if they failed. "I'm not 100% sure I can beat Votang, but if we fail, then we'll be eliminated right from the first round. As for your own strength, you two know it best yourselves. We're mostly here just for the experience anyway. But how are you planning to find Votang in the middle of this huge forest? Can you even track him?" A corner of his mouth curled up, his eyes filled with confidence and cunning. With Votang's arrogant and reckless personality combined with his strength, he'll definitely be overconfident. He'll go to the place with the most badges to snatch them up. Therefore, all we need to do is set a trap and wait for him on the path to the exit where the most badges are concentrated. Let's cut him off. Scene changed to an area in the wild wolf forest. His team cautiously moved deeper inside, choosing a high vantage point to observe the other team's movements. Suddenly, he heard savage growls echoing from a distance. It turned out that below a team was struggling in a life-or-death battle with a pack of wolves. A glint of shock flashed in his eyes. Mutant wolves. Aren't these the monsters from the glass space? Why are they appearing in the real world like this? The Illustrated Book of Foreign Species records all the monsters humans have discovered so far. Until now, the monsters from the glass space weren't supposed to exist at all. A crazy thought suddenly flashed in his mind. Could it be that all the monsters in the glass space originated from this spirit realm? Below, a girl was trembling in fear, crying and cursing. "Damn it, it's all because of that bastard Votang. He led them to us." A mutant wolf suddenly moved. With a single strike, it left deep wounds on 2 of the girl's teammates. A teammate yelled in despair, "Hugh, my run!" But as the wolf opened its foul-smelling maw and lunged at the girl, a cold flash of sword light like a bolt of lightning struck down from the void. Swish! The massive wolf's body was sliced clean in 2. It was an incredibly clean cut. Blood splattered everywhere. The stunned girl looked up. Is it a rescue teacher?" But no. The proud figure standing before her, a blood-dripping sword in hand. It was none other than our protagonist, Tran Do. He asked coolly, "I just heard you mention the name Votang. Did you run into him?" Mai was still too stunned to speak, but one of her teammates, helped up by McLoy Dak, answered for her. Yes, that's right. After we found the first checkpoint, it was empty. Then on our way to the second checkpoint, we ran into Votang frantically fighting 10 of these monsters. We were following our teacher's advice to retreat immediately if we encountered Votang, but we never expected to be targeted by this monster and chased all the way here." A shrewd glint flashed in his eyes. "Where was their battle?" Mai tremblingly pointed. "Oh, over there." Trando thought to himself, "I don't remember there being any badge checkpoints over there. What the hell was that Votang guy doing over there? Something's definitely fishy. But if he really was fighting a whole pack of monsters, then Tang's strength must be nearly exhausted by now. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I absolutely can't let it pass." Without a moment's hesitation, he waved his hand, signaling, "Let's go." McLoydak hurriedly ran after him and asked, "Our luck is way too good today. Seriously, it's like anything we wish for just falls right into our laps." "Trando, do you have a battle plan?" He recalled the shady look in the young man's eyes, and a sense of unease rose within him. He warned his teammates in a low voice, When we get there, do not under any circumstances give our position away. And don't act rashly. I have a feeling this isn't so simple. From now on, just follow my commands. When I say attack, you attack. When I say retreat, you retreat. MacLoydak and Lu Ba looked at each other, saw the seriousness in his eyes, and nodded firmly. Got it. And so the three of them used their movement techniques to dash forward, completely unaware that in the dark canopy behind them a pair of vicious wolf eyes was stalking them. After running for a long stretch, the three entered the deepest part of the wolf forest. Lu Ba panted and asked, "Did that guy trick us and send us the wrong way? We've been running for so long and there's still no sign of that Votang guy." Just then, the three of them heard footsteps. A large, dark figure rushed past with a thud. The protagonist's face changed as he drew his sword and shouted, "We've been set up!" Behind his team, a pack of hungry and frenzied wolves bearing their fangs and claws charged out from the darkness. Their blood-red eyes locked onto the three of them. Trandu. The words of those three were as expected, half-truth, half-lie. His mind raced, his gaze turning ice-cold. They did run into Votang, but it absolutely wasn't on this path. Those little brats must have seen our badges. They decided to use someone else to do their dirty work, deliberately pointing us this way to lead us to our deaths. Their plan was to use this wolf pack to tear us to shreds. Then I'll come back and swoop in to take the prize from all 20 of them. This is the entire wolf den, a fine drive the tiger to devour the wolf strategy. He calmly observed, calculating in his head. Compared to the 7 monsters in the glass space, there are 10 fewer of them, but their life force intensity is overwhelmingly superior. I absolutely cannot let any blood be spilled. A moment ago, when those three were attacked, I saw it clearly. This wolf pack will go into an absolute frenzy when they smell fresh blood. Besides, their most dangerous weapon isn't their teeth. It's their claws, as sharp as blades. As he finished his thought, his figure flickered, lunging toward the front line like an unstoppable sword. The sword energy unleashed from the blade in a single merciless strike. It pierced straight through the throat of a mutant wolf that was about to pounce. This shocking scene was instantly broadcast to the large screen, capturing the gazes of the entire stadium. Oh my God. The captain of Liang City actually charged straight into the wolf's den. What an idiot. He probably didn't even look at the map and is just wandering around. He just had a spectacular victory, and now, in the blink of an eye, he's about to be eliminated. He's sure to lose, facing 20 native mutant wolves at once. I'm afraid only Senior Chu from our Liang City team would have the strength to hold her ground. In the VIP room, Principal Li Mu's eyes widened. His heart was burning with anxiety. Things have already escalated to this point. Could it be that Chengdu and the kids are really going to be eliminated in the first round? Principal Cao Yan, who had just been laughed at by the genius from Liang City No. 1 Middle School, now turned to laugh back at his friend, Old Li. Looks like we'll still have to carry our suitcases home on the same flight. These 3 kids were unlucky enough to run straight into a den of mutant wolves. Principal Chu, what do you think their chances of getting through are? Chu Cheng shook his head in resignation, his voice firm as he delivered the verdict. Not even a 10% chance. Is it really that low, this first-round badge-snatching battle? Is the crucible to test the resilience of our city's geniuses? On the surface, things may seem prosperous and peaceful, but in the wilderness outside, monsters run rampant, wreaking havoc everywhere. We have to throw these seedlings who are destined to become martial artists into deadly situations to let them face the brutal reality on their own. At this point, Chu Cheng analyzed more deeply. However, as long as they don't step into the wolf den's territory, these mutant wolves can be completely avoided. The badges are placed behind the wolf den, looking safe. If the students don't think things through and just blindly follow the guide, they will definitely feed themselves to the wolves. Even so, an accidental encounter with mutant wolves doesn't mean a death sentence. If it's just a few stragglers, the outstanding students are more than capable of protecting themselves. We can only blame the Liang City team for being too unlucky, running headfirst into a medium-sized den of 20 bloodthirsty wolves. Old Cow suddenly understood. So that's how it is. It's a carefully laid trap. I wonder if our team can pass this stage smoothly. Hearing this, Chu Cheng laughed arrogantly. Just rest easy and sleep soundly. The High City team has my beloved daughter Chu Xiaogu and your son Ku Chongtian. With the strength of those two, even if they run into a medium-sized wolf den, wiping it out is just a small matter. Back on the fiery battlefield in the spirit realm. Swish. A sharp slash tore through the air. Another wolf's corpse fell. He flicked the bloodstain from his sword. His eyes were filled with contempt, looking down on the world. Can't even take a single hit. Chengdu glanced at the pack of beasts baring their fangs and claws as they charged at him, the corner of his lips curling into a cold smirk. Excellent. I've successfully drawn most of their fire. As long as these mutant wolves don't enter a frenzied state, Liu Ba and Mo Laita will be able to hold their ground. On the other side, seeing him single-handedly bearing the brunt of the beast pack's ferocious assault, his two teammates broke out in a cold sweat, shouting anxiously, "Chengdu! Liu Ba! We can't just stand here and watch. We have to go all out and finish these small fry quickly so we can go help him." Mo Laita gritted his teeth, tightened his grip on his weapon, and unleashed a martial skill to repel the mutant wolves. "Okay. You take 3, I'll take 3. Earthbound prison." With a loud shout, a sturdy defensive net of sword energy spread out powerfully, restraining the deadly claws of the wolves surrounding the two of them. Meanwhile, at the center of the battlefield, the protagonist, Chengdu, was like a god of death. Swish, swish. Another brilliant flash of swordlight streaked across, directly sending 2 more wolves to the afterlife. His speed was so fast it tore through the wind, his figure shifting like lightning. His eyes were calm and waveless, but his strikes were merciless and precise down to the millimeter. His wrist turned. The sword hummed its sound, echoing through the mountains and forests. Flowing immortal sword style. Second form sword, echoes to the heavens. With one move, his sword energy surged like a waterfall, cutting off all paths of retreat for the wolf pack. Flowing immortal sword style, third form, azure wind under the forest. His body glided like a breeze rustling through a bamboo forest, but wherever his blade went, lives were reaped. The hero slaughters his foes. The bodies of wolves were strewn about, piling up beneath his regal feet. From another angle, the wild wolves, having surrounded him from all 4 sides, bared their fangs and claws in unison, lunging straight for Chengdu, like a horde of bloodthirsty zombies. He let out a cold snort, gathered his strength, and swung his sword in a powerful counterattack. The space-rending sword energy slashed down, making the beasts cry out in bone-chilling agony. Flowing immortal sword style, fourth form, azure dragon's touch. Chengdu roared in his mind. He smirked. "You little pups. I've slaughtered you countless thousands of times in the glass space. Every step you take, every pounce, even the way you coordinate your attacks, I know it all like the back of my hand." He turned his head slightly, his gaze as sharp as an ice-coated blade sweeping across the battlefield. On the other side, Mo Laita was straining his entire body to withstand the waves of attacks, his face as white as a sheet. He bit his lip hard, his heart filled with frustration and humiliation. "I've always been at the top of the ranks, but in this life-or-death moment, I've become useless, a burden to the team." Chengdu silently assessed the situation. "These mutant wolves, the weakest one has a life force intensity above level 5. That pack leader must have reached 6.5, although I have enough power to unleash a force equivalent to level 7. They are too cunning. They just keep harassing me without launching a direct attack. It's hard to land a one-hit kill." On the other side, Liu Ba was also struggling to his limit. He could barely hold off 3 wolves with absolutely no energy left to help Mo Laita. Chengdu tightened his grip on the hilt of his sword, the veins on the back of his hand bulging. "Still not enough. My strength and speed are still lacking a bit. I need to break through another 1%. If only my sword was a sliver faster, a breath stronger. I have more than enough power to tear this encirclement apart." Suddenly, the alpha wolf with blood-red eyes howled madly, charging forward in a vicious gust of wind, its lethal claws slashing straight down at Chengdu's head. He snorted with contempt, unleashing all his power to slash out countless waves of sword energy, pushing them back. "I only have 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, I have to slaughter these gale wolves and cut their numbers to a minimum. Otherwise, there's absolutely no chance of breaking through. Faster. My sword. You can be faster. Even faster," he roared internally like a wild beast. An extremely cold blue light flashed in his deep eyes. His movements became decisive, ruthless, and frenzied. Hot blood boiled within him, and a wave of supreme excitement washed over him. "That's it. This is the feeling. As long as I can maintain this peak state, a chance to turn the tables will come." Suddenly, he heard Liu Ba's panicked voice. "This is bad. Trando McLoy Dak's arm is injured." Surrounded by the mutated wolves, McLoy Dak clutched his bleeding arm, his whole body trembling. His lips stammered, "Sorry." Hearing that weak voice, Trando roared in fury, "These damn beasts! They've smelled blood and are about to enter a berserk state. You two fall back now." The two of them stared back at him, their eyes filled with anxiety. But before they could react, a nearby wolf went mad and seized the opportunity to lunge at McLoy Dak. The fangs of death were right at his neck. Don't get cocky, you beast! Trando turned into a bolt of lightning appearing right above it. Boom! He used the momentum to deliver an earth-shattering kick straight down onto the wolf's head, smashing it into the ground. It created a deep crater. Standing on the monster's corpse, he gave a cold command. I'll stay behind and deal with them alone. Teacher Lang Van is still watching from the shadows. There's no way I'll die. This is the only way. Our team will have a chance to survive and advance to the next round. Lou Ba bit her lip until it bled, then forcefully pulled McLoydak's arm and yelled, "Let's go! We can't be a burden to him anymore. Let's go." As soon as they retreated, Trando immediately regulated his breathing, his mind becoming unusually clear. When these monsters enter a berserk state, their speed and strength will explode. They'll increase terrifyingly, but in return, they'll completely lose their reason, only knowing how to madly attack the closest living creature in their sight, purely on instinct. And coincidentally, I've already had more than enough experience with 30 berserk gale wolves in the crystal space. Now's the perfect time for a review session. Roar! The alpha wolf roared, its body instantly swelling to become several times larger and more ferocious. With eyes promising a fight to the death, it brandished its sharp fangs and claws and pounced toward Trando. He stood proudly, spreading his arms wide. Sharp sword energy enveloped his blade, blocking the attack. So you've evolved a life force of level 7, huh? At the same time, in the grand hall of Haithan No. 1 High School, the stands erupted with excited chatter. It's over! Facing a whole pack of berserk wolves like that. Even if his combat technique is at first tier 99%, I'm afraid he's going to die here. Oh, what a shame. I was really hoping to see a top-tier showdown between the 4 great perfection geniuses in the second round. An audience member from Haithan pouted smugly. If it were true. Aiti. Teo Kuk or Cook Trung Teen from our Haithan team, this situation would have been a piece of cake. In the VIP room, Principal Tao Mook remarked, "This kid is really stubborn. He still hasn't been eliminated." Chutan narrowed his eyes, staring at the screen. His voice was laced with admiration. He's indeed quite skilled. So skilled it's a bit strange. Strange in what way? Chuthan immediately pulled out Trando's file. I just took a special look at this student Trando's file. Before coming to Haithan for the tournament, he had never even stepped outside the borders of Luongtan. Taomuk took the file, his eyes unable to hide his astonishment and confusion. What's so strange about that? Combat technique is mostly based on innate talent. Chuthan shook his head, his gaze incredibly sharp. The strangeness I'm talking about isn't his level of combat technique, but his combat instincts. Look closely. The flowing light sword technique that kid is using is not yet perfect, which proves his technique hasn't reached first tier 99%. But he can accurately predict the wolf pack's attacks without even looking. This kind of demonic reflex is exactly like a seasoned veteran who fought his way back from the front lines, carving a bloody path through endless corpses. Hearing this, Tao Muk's face turned pale. He quickly looked closer. Chuthan sighed with emotion. Ordinary people aren't qualified to know about the spirit realm, and it's even more impossible for them to know the details about this species of gale wolf. I was convinced that Trando was a secret successor of the Extreme Martial Hall, which is why he had access to confidential information. But no, he's just a kid from an ordinary family. He has absolutely no background whatsoever. Back on the fiery battlefield in the spirit realm, Trando was completely surrounded by the red-eyed wolf pack. They howled madly. Simultaneously, they leaped forward like a tsunami. "Come on, you beasts!" He channeled all his vital energy and let out an earth-shattering roar. Forest's light wind. He sent them flying tens of meters back. Trando quickly calculated. Excluding the strongest alpha, which has a life force of level 7, the rest have all reached the 6.0 threshold. Not quite 6.5. The combined strength of these dozen or so monsters is definitely more terrifying than the 6 giant figures I just defeated in the crystal space. Golden Swallow links the heavens. He plunged his sword into the trunk of an ancient tree and used the leverage to leap high into the air as gracefully as a swallow. I have to find the key to breaking through. He used a tree trunk to launch himself, his eyes locked onto a wolf hiding at the very back. You're the one. While the pack leader is off guard, I have to take it down. A wolf was lying in wait to ambush him before the bloody battle which was unfolding with brutal intensity. A vicious gust of wind grazed the back of his neck, sending a cold sweat down his spine. This is bad. If this stalemate continues, it won't do me any good. My stamina has already dropped to a critical level. I have to end this and fast. He immediately leaped high into the air. Dodging countless attacks, he could feel the pain spreading. Trando knew his speed was starting to fail him against them. On the ground below, the wolf pack continued their relentless assault. Their overwhelming pressure forced him to retreat instinctively. He gritted his teeth and swung his sword, slashing open the flank of a wolf that lunged at him. Blood sprayed everywhere. He glanced behind him. His mind raced at an incredible speed, searching for an opening to dodge the wolf charging at him. The two sides clashed in a fiery battle, neither giving an inch. A sharp claw slashed across him. The pain was so intense he bit his lip until it bled. Damn it, I already found its weak spot. I was so close. Just a little more. Right at that fragile line between life and death, a blazing crimson light erupted from the depths of his eyes. His human potential was pushed to its absolute limit. But my sword must be faster, stronger, heavier. I have to break through memories of his family and loved ones cheering him on the days of training on the brink of death, fighting until he died in the glass space. The belief that he would become the greatest martial artist of mankind, instilled by his master Langvan, flooded back like a shot of adrenaline to his mind. He roared like a savage beast. Unleashing a power that surpassed his body's limits, he counterattacked the alpha wolf. In that moment, a single thought burned fiercely in Trondo's mind. This isn't just a tournament. This is the turning point that will decide the fate of my entire life. His eyes were bloodshot, filled with a terrifying, wild determination. I will absolutely not allow myself to fall here. He channeled all his strength, delivering a fatal blow straight down at the alpha wolf's face. The moment the blade sliced through the air, space itself seemed to strangely freeze. The feeling of this strike? It seemed different somehow. Unexpectedly, from behind the other wolves, lunged forward in unison while the alpha wolf, with a look of extreme ferocity, also extended its steel-hard claws, gripping his sword tightly. Langvan, hidden in the shadows, let out a soft sigh. Oh, Trondo, if you weren't so quick to trust others, you wouldn't have ended up in this death trap. Consider this a costly lesson before you step out into the world, even if the price is far too steep. It seems the outcome is set. The show ends here. But just as Langvan was about to make his move, his eyes suddenly shot wide open, his pupils shrinking to a pinpoint. That kid, this sword intent. Sword. This feeling is completely different from before. A swirling blue cyclone rose up, roaring like an ancient ferocious beast, erupting from the blade of Trondo's sword. He killed all the wolves attacking him. He spun, using his own gravity to plunge his sword through the head of the last wolf, a whirlwind sweeping across his face. His expression was utterly cold, like a god of war. Trondo let out a heavy breath. The sword's trajectory has now completely merged with the direction of the wind. This power is indeed much stronger now. He gently raised his blood-stained sword. With every step he took, his aura grew stronger, as steady and unshakable as Mount Tai. The cold voice of the system echoed in his mind. Ding, congratulations, Trondo. Flowing light sword technique has broken through from 98% to 99%. The Grand Hall of Haicheng First High School erupted. Old Tao's eyes bulged with shock as he pointed at the screen. Limuk Tut kid from your school, Trondo, he actually broke through his martial skill in the middle of a life-or-death battle. Limuk stroked his beard and laughed heartily, his voice filled with pride. Precisely. My student's martial skill level is now officially on par with those so-called geniuses of yours. Both are at first order 99%. Chu Chung, sitting beside them, trembled, slightly horrified. To deal with a pack of swift-wind wolves of that medium intensity? Even a student who is a true first-order 99% martial skill user would eventually be torn to shreds from exhaustion. Principal Tao Muk muttered, his face dazed. But the forced trajectory of the flowing light sword technique that Trondo executed, it seems a bit too powerful. Oh, that level of power is completely unlike the strength and speed of a normal first-order 99% realm. Chu Chung took a deep breath, and after a moment of thought, he realized. It's the mental force additive. Furthermore, I suspect this little monster's mental force has already approached the threshold of level 10. Level 10, Taomuk gave his assessment. This Trondo is astonishing. This child absolutely has the potential to become a sky-rank martial artist. Chu Cheng tried to maintain his composure. At the beginner martial artist stage, to already possess such extraordinary mental force is extremely rare. Once he reaches level 10, his soul will transform into a martial soul. However, it's not certain he can break the level 15 barrier in the future. Don't forget, a first-order martial skill at 100% completion is one of the 3 prerequisites to becoming a sky-rank martial artist. That's no small threshold. Taomuk pursed his lips and scoffed. You're being way too harsh. In my opinion, for Trondo to have come this far is already incredibly outstanding. Suddenly, angry shouts erupted from the stands. Everyone look. Why is the Luthen team the one saved by the Lungtang team lurking near the exit area? I get it now. I've been watching the Lungtun team this whole time. It was that ungrateful Lutun team that deliberately gave them the wrong directions, tricking the Lungtun team into stumbling right into the wolf den inside the spirit realm in a hidden corner 3 members of the Lutun team were hiding. The girl named To Me asked indifferently, Trung Swai, are you sure we can really get our hands on the Lungtun team's badges? The team captain Trung Swai smiled slyly. Don't worry, not even the strongest team. To deal with that many swift-winged wolves, Chen Duo was finally cornered while trying to save his teammates. The supervising teacher was forced to intervene and clear them out. The moment a teacher steps in, it means Chen Duo is automatically eliminated. He grinned smugly. According to the rules, anyone who's eliminated has to leave all their badges on the spot. Plus, the badges don't have any tracking devices. Right now, there aren't any other teams around the exit area, and the wild beasts are busy fighting way off in the distance. Only we know the exact location. To immediately collect both of those precious badges, it's finally time to collect the spoils from our little sit-on-the-mountain and watch the tigers fight strategy. The lackey beside him gave a thumbs up, sucking up to him. Brilliant. You truly live up to your name, Zhang Shuai, our cunning strategist. Your foresight is uncanny. But as he was gloating, Zhang Shuai's eyes suddenly widened with suspicion. He looked around as a chill ran down his spine. Wait a minute. Something feels off. But what is it? Before he could think, his lackey excitedly pointed ahead and yelled, Boss, look! The badge is over there! Sure enough, on a pile of mutated wolf corpses, a blue badge was glittering. The character for Wu was clearly carved on its surface. Xiao Mei cheered with delight. This is great. Looks like the Liang Cheng team's teacher really did intervene and get Chen Duo eliminated. Talk about a lucky break. Zhang Shuai stared at the battlefield littered with wolf corpses, a chill suddenly running down his spine. This many dire wolves. And they were all slaughtered just like that. This place reeked of blood, giving the distinct impression that a brutal, earth-shattering battle had just taken place. But deep down, a sense of unease kept nagging at him. It felt like he'd overlooked some critical detail. Suddenly, Zhang Shuai's pupils shrank. He seemed to remember something absolutely terrifying. He shrieked at his lackey up ahead. Run! The Liang Cheng team was never eliminated. This badge is a trap. The lackey turned back his face, a mask of disbelief. What? How is that even possible? Boss, look at this. These mutated wolves are all dead, their eyes wide and fangs bared. There's absolutely no way that brat Chen Duo could have slaughtered all of them by himself. But before he could finish, a bone-chilling flash of a sword shot past his arm. The terrified Liu Cheng squad whipped around to look behind them. From the darkness of the bushes, a cold voice thick with killing intent rang out. Actually, I killed them all myself. Chen Duo slowly stepped out his face, as cold as a demon king emerging from hell. His overwhelming, oppressive aura was suffocating. Following behind him were Mo Lei Dai and Liu Ba. How did you know we weren't eliminated? Zhang Shuai trembled instinctively, taking a few steps back. He answered, Because of the wounds, all the supervising teachers are forbidden from carrying dangerous weapons into the spirit realm. A bare-handed team leader could never have used a sword to slaughter these dire wolves so cleanly. The howls of the wolf pack echoed from afar, as if refusing to accept reality. In Chen Duo's mind, images of the monsters flickered in and out of sight as he mentally reviewed his actions. Teacher Ling Yun always uses a variety of different weapons when sparring with students in martial arts class. I never even knew what kind of weapon he actually specialized in. And I was so careless before that I completely overlooked that detail. How careless. Next time on a real battlefield, I'll have to be 100 times more cautious and thorough. With that thought, he walked over to the pile of corpses. As he retrieved the badge, he coldly asked the same question as before. Where is Wu Zhang? Then he unexpectedly tossed the badge onto the grass at their feet, saying with contempt, I'm not interested in these worthless badges. The only thing I want is a good, satisfying fight with Wu Zhang. Zhang Shuai swallowed and looked at the badge, understanding immediately. So that's how it is. It seems Chen Duo's ambition for this city tournament isn't just to pass the round, but to use Wu Zhang as a stepping stone. He gritted his teeth, knowing he wouldn't get out of here alive if he didn't talk. We ran into Wu Zhang in the opposite direction. Their target is probably the star-shaped marker way back there. It's just that along the way. They had the bad luck of running into the pack of mutated wolves. Ran into the wolves on the way, Chen Duo thought. It seems there's a problem with the organizers' direct route navigation system. They're deliberately setting a trap. To save his own skin, Zhang Shuai hurriedly added, He's probably not at his original location anymore, but he's definitely still hanging around near that star-shaped marker. Suddenly, one of the Liu Cheng team members tried to pull a fast one, drawing his weapon for a sneak attack from behind. But in the blink of an eye, Chen Duo's figure zipped past him like a flash of lightning. Clang! The attacker's weapon was sent flying as Chen Duo knocked out all 3 members of the Liu Cheng squad. He sheathed his sword, turned his back, and started to walk away. His back radiated an aura of absolute arrogance. "Leave your badges here and get lost." Zhang Shuai's eyes rolled into the back of his head as he collapsed, screaming in fury. You dare to screw us over, you! Chen Duo didn't bother to look back, only tilting his head slightly. A faint smile touched his lips. "I'm just sincerely repaying the favor you all did for me earlier by pointing the way." Suddenly, a figure leaped out of the bushes. It was the Liu Cheng team's supervising teacher. He said angrily, "You've got some nerve, kid, going back on your word like that you have no martial ethics." Upon hearing the words, "no martial ethics," veins bulged on Ma Lita's forehead as he fought the urge to rush out and fight this shameless old man to the death. But Liu Ba held him back. Trando's eyes were filled with mockery. So this was the lead teacher for Liu Cheng. He didn't have the air of a true master at all, nothing to be afraid of. Thinking this, he leisurely patted the dust off his clothes, a smirk on his face as he retorted, "Teacher, this is what you call a taste of your own medicine. You have only yourself to blame." Ma Lita ran over to pick up the 2 badges and exclaimed, "To think they already had the Wu character badge." Trando nodded. "No wonder they wanted to use a borrowed knife to kill. Since they plotted against us like this, we've conveniently gathered the complete set of 2 badges, Gao and Wu," Liu Ba asked doubtfully. "But given our current exhausted state, are you still planning to go challenge Votang?" The sky was clear and quiet, with long, wide, ancient trees obscuring the view. Ma Lita was also curious. "Trando, in your current state, are you still stubbornly set on finding Votang for a fight to the death?" He checked the location Votang was headed to and replied rationally, "No, I'm not going. My stamina and spiritual energy are too depleted. Right now, forget about a peak first-stage perfection monster like Votang. Even someone at 89% of the first stage could easily force me into a life-or-death battle. I just asked those guys for Votang's location so that we would know which way to go to actively avoid them to prevent a confrontation with a perfection-level master right now." He looked at the 2 badges and gave a mysterious smile. "I just didn't expect our luck to be this good. We managed to take what was theirs and complete our set of badges." The map appeared. He waved his hand commanding, "Let's move! Now we head straight for the moon-shaped checkpoint to turn in the badges and finish this round. Just stick to the path I'm showing you." Ma Lita was baffled and curious. "Why are we going this way?" Liu Ba chimed in, "Yeah, this path is the long way around. It's much farther." Trando recalled what Trong Soai had said earlier, and the corners of his lips curled into a knowing smile. Earlier, when Trong Soai was cut off mid-sentence, "Didn't you guys notice an extremely interesting detail?" "What?" The 2 of them were stunned. Ma Lita pondered for a moment, then suddenly clapped his hands in realization. "I get it. The real danger of collecting the badges isn't at the destination, but scattered along the path to get there." Trando nodded, his eyes revealing his intelligence. "Exactly. This entire wolf forest was meticulously and viciously designed by the organizers. The most reliable way to not walk straight into a wolf's den is to follow the shortest path connecting the 2 star-shaped markers. But that also means maximizing the probability of encountering other teams." He emphasized, "This is a carefully calculated deathmatch arena. Teams without real strength, unless they have heaven-defying luck and stumble upon the secret, shouldn't even dream of getting both badges, and even if they do, there's no guarantee they'll survive to turn them in at the moon checkpoint. Therefore, until the system announces the complete end of the test, we absolutely cannot let our guard down, not even for a second." After hearing this, Liu Ba and Ma Lita broke out in a cold sweat. "So that's how it is. I understand now." Just as the 3 of them were moving at high speed, leaping through the dense canopy at a dizzying pace, a figure suddenly emerged from the bushes ahead, blocking their path. Them. After getting a clear look at the person blocking their way, Trando's face immediately turned pale. Tension soared within him as he cursed, "Damn it, out of the frying pan and into the fire." To think they would accidentally run into the only 2 perfection-level masters from the host team, Hai Cheng. The finish line was clearly right in front of them. The young man was carrying a large wooden box. His indifferent gaze swept over the 3 of them. "Oh, a first-stage perfection," Trando thoughtfully assessed his opponent. Not only did he radiate an incredibly sharp sword intent, but his oppressive aura was also immensely heavy. There was no mistaking it. He was Ku Zhongtian, a powerhouse who had reached the threshold of first-stage perfection. Ku Jongtian suddenly slammed the wooden box on his back onto the ground. A mechanism opened, and countless sharp swords began to pour out of the box, gleaming with a cold, murderous light. Trando's group, already on edge like startled birds, tensed their muscles and drew their weapons, preparing for battle. But suddenly, from behind Ku Jongtian, a clear female voice tinged with arrogance rang out. "Stop, Ku Jongtian. Look at the injuries on his body. He must have just gone through a life-or-death battle with mutated wolves. If we use our advantage to bully him into a fight now, there would be no glory even if we win." The newcomer was none other than Chu Tiu Kok, nicknamed the Sea Princess. Chu Tiu Kok smiled, her beautiful eyes sizing up Trando. "I never thought that in this tournament. Besides Vo Tang, there would be another hidden master who has reached first-stage perfection. But hey, whether it's you or Vo Tang, I will personally and honorably eliminate you both in the next knockout round. Our Hai Cheng team has dominated the championship for 9 consecutive years, so this 10th-year championship will absolutely not slip through my fingers." After speaking, the two of them turned and left. Standing behind Liu Ba let out a sigh of relief. "I never expected this noble Lady Chu Tiu Kok to be so honorable with the air of a true heroine." But upon hearing this, Trando's face darkened, his heart filled with sarcasm. A heroine's air, that sly old fox who secretly deals in nuclear bombs and ambushes people in their rooms. A simulation with the air of a martial arts heroine. Humph, keep up the act. How interesting. Over here, a curious Ku Jongtian asked Zhu Xiaogu, "I never would have dreamed that you'd be capable of spouting such empty righteous platitudes like an unworthy victory." That despicable fighting style. Pouncing on a weakened enemy, going in for the kill, and never giving your opponent a single moment to breathe, that's the school of thought that made you famous. And you got called out for it right there on the spot. So embarrassed her cheeks flushed red, Zhu Xiaogu gritted her teeth and jabbed an elbow into Ku Jongtian's ribs. "You idiot, there are cameras live streaming this to the entire city, dude. I have to maintain my image, you know." Time passed. Night fell in silence. The scene changes to a luxurious hotel room for the contestants. An exhausted Chen Du flopped back onto the soft bed. Finally done. His daily training plan to strengthen his mental power using the illusory immortal meditation was complete. He clasped his hands behind his head, his pensive eyes gazing up at the system panel, calculating his progress. Today, 50 teams, including our Liang Cheng team, for a total of 150 students, survived the brutal first round of the badge battle. Looks like I'll have to defeat about 40 more formidable opponents tomorrow to even qualify for the third round. Chen Du clenched his fist, a fervent light flashing in his eyes. Feeling drowsy, he thought, "My current mental power has already hit level 9. Tonight I just need to enter the glass space and destroy all the monsters in 7 consecutive waves. I'll definitely break through the bottleneck and level up. When my mental power reaches level 10, my soul will mutate, bringing about a complete qualitative transformation." He smirked, an immensely arrogant smile spreading across his face. "If I step into the arena tomorrow with level 10 mental power, the championship title of this tournament will be as good as mine." The space around him shifted, and Chen Du appeared once again in the alternate dimension, his eyes glinting with focus. "The 7th wave of monsters is here." Immediately, a pack of hairy monsters appeared. Moreover, each one was wielding a weapon, and the aura they radiated was several times stronger than the 6th waves. Chen Du thought, "This form, it's a two-faced, three-bladed bear illa, life intensity level 7. Just as the notification faded, one of the creatures swung a sharp blade at him. Chen Du immediately raised his sword to block. An ear-piercing clang of metal rang out. "Such strength. I have to change my angle of attack." With that thought, he sprang backwards to get behind the monster, but his eyes suddenly narrowed, because there was another face on the back of its head. No wonder the system called it two-faced. Immediately, the two-faced three-bladed bear illa swung its blades to attack, and he instinctively ducked into a spin to dodge. "If I want to succeed tomorrow, I have to clear this 7th wave tonight and level up my mental power." His resolve set Chen Du executed a movement technique to get close, slashing at its neck with the tip of his sword. But the creature didn't even try to defend. Looks like that's not its weak spot. He swung his sword again, this time aiming for the head. After 2 probing attacks, he noticed it was only defending, not counterattacking. So the weak spot isn't on its upper body, while his attention was divided. The two-faced bear struck at his throat like lightning, but he easily parried the blow with his sword. Suddenly, he realized it was hiding its tail, or more accurately, protecting it. With that thought, he blurred into an afterimage and circled behind it. Next, our hero feinted an attack at its head. The moment it raised its 2 blades to defend, he instantly executed his movement technique. reappearing right by its tail. Realizing it had been tricked, the eyes of the two-faced, three-bladed bear Illa turned crimson with absolute fury. But it was too late. A slash of sword energy tore through the air and severed its tail. Looking at the lifeless body on the ground, Chengdu gave a cold laugh and said, "Tonight I'd like to see just how long the rest of you can hide." The scene changes to the private room of the Haicheng martial artists. At that moment, Zhu Xiaogu, wearing a face mask, asked, "Teacher Zhang, did you call us here for something?" "Yes," Teacher Zhang replied. "Do you remember the Liangcheng team you faced in today's match?" "Of course. The one with the perfected first-order user. His name is Chengdu, according to our latest intelligence. He is very likely to become the biggest obstacle on your path to winning the championship, even though Chengdu comes from a small city like Liangcheng. But he's quite outstanding. He managed to do it all by himself. And took down an entire medium-sized wolf pack." Zhu Xiaogu was shocked. "He killed a whole medium-sized wolf pack by himself. Could it be?" "His true strength is at the extreme first order." Teacher Zhang shook his head in denial. "I doubt it, but he is definitely a prodigy who learns 10 things from one. As for his skills in form or intent, we don't have specific information yet." Qiu Zhongtian was aghast. "Does that mean his martial arts proficiency is on par with our Xiaogu?" Teacher Zhang didn't deny it. He emphasized, "I called you here tonight. And firstly, to provide this information, and secondly, to tell you that whether it's Chengdu Wusong or anyone else, you must always remain vigilant and absolutely cannot be careless. Especially you, Xiaogu. If you were to face Chengdu, how confident would you be?" Taking off her face mask, Zhu Xiaogu confidently declared, "My answer is the same as always. No one can stop Haicheng from claiming our 10th consecutive championship." The scene changes to the next morning at the luxury hotel where a board explaining the format for round 2 is already set up. Principal Chu Cheng explained, "The second round will use a one-on-one format with a life intensity limit of level 5. Contestants from the same city will not be matched against each other. From 150 contestants, one-on-one eliminations will leave 75. From 75 contestants, one-on-one eliminations will result in 38, as one person will receive a bye. From 38 one-on-one eliminations will leave 19. From 19 one-on-one eliminations will result in our top 10. As one person will receive a bye due to the odd number, 4 rounds of eliminations will be held today. Those in the top 10 will advance to the finals tomorrow. The system will handle the matchmaking automatically. Your matchups will be ordered based on completion time. The faster you finish a round, the sooner your next one will start. Conversely, if your previous round takes a long time, the organizers will do their best to ensure that whoever advances gets adequate rest. Your current seat numbers, which represent the rankings you secured yesterday, will mean nothing if you fail today." Chengdu thought to himself, "Number 16? Looks like we were the 4th team to pass the qualifiers yesterday." Then the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. The randomly generated matchup list for the 50 cities appeared. Seeing the very first matchup on the board, the entire arena erupted. Holy crap! The first match is already this epic. A perfected order versus a perfected order. This is gonna be insane. This is a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. Haicheng team's captain Zhu Xiaogu versus Lucheng team's captain Wu Song. Upon seeing his opponent's name, the corner of Wu Song's mouth twitched sharply. Then it slowly stretched into a twisted, excited smile, the veins on his forehead bulging and writhing like earthworms. He wasn't afraid at all. On the contrary, the aura radiating from him was thick and violent like a volcano on the verge of erupting. In stark contrast to Wu Song's madness, Chu Teokuk gently lifted her chin. Her azure eyes were like a tranquil lake, yet they held a bone-chilling coldness. She didn't flinch in the slightest under Lokthan's pressure, a cryptic and confident smile playing on her lips. To Chu Teokuk, this wasn't a challenge, but a stage to affirm her status as the #1 genius.